been injured in an accident, one thing leads to another. Your injury leads to treatment. Treatment leads to hospital bills. Bills lead to debt. Debt leads to stress. The advocates can help relieve that stress. Having an advocate attorney on your side leads to faster resolutions, fair outcomes, and a peaceful recovery for you. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show live on your YouTube machine on the last day of June. The first half of the year is gone. What have you done with your life? I don't know either. Can you guys believe that it is the end of June already on the Monty Show presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com? Tell you every single day, man, when you've been in a wreck, you need somebody who can fight for you. You need somebody who knows how to handle the claims process. That's The Advocates. They've been there. They've done that. They've won that. Let them fight for you. You didn't deserve to be in an accident. You do deserve an advocate. Chat with an injury attorney live online, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. A lot to get to today. A lot of breaking news out of the NBA. We will get to LeBron James. Jake's convinced he sucks, and he's not a has-been. You just said he was a never was.
Yeah, he's a never was. He's washed,
Every time I say the words LeBron James, the globe slows down just a little bit.
Because it's garbage.
People get so hot over LeBron James. It is amazing. So we will talk NBA. Got to talk Utah Jazz. Validating the Marty program
again
by buying out Jordan Clarkson today. So we've got a lot of NBA. But I want to get to, I feel like the right place to go is with this Jake Retzlaff story. And, we've been talking to people about this, and I feel like so many people don't understand the situation at BYU. And they don't understand why Jake Retzlaff is transferring away from BYU, according to Pete Thamel at ESPN. We told you 3 weeks ago when this story first came out, Jake Retzlaff was never going to play another down of football at BYU. It was as clear-cut as could be. There was never an argument to be made that Jake Retzlaff did not violate the Honor Code. As much as I think a lot of BYU fans would like to look past the Honor Code, or this is not an option. And the hard part about this is it's no longer a question of whether or not Jake Retzlaff violated the Honor Code at BYU. He admitted in a court filing that he and his accuser had consensual sexual relations. It's over. As soon as that was filed, as soon as this case really became public, I think I even told you on the show the day it happened, it's very difficult to make the argument that there was not sex outside of marriage between this woman and Jake Retzlaff. I believed it. It was my opinion then. That has been backed up by a court filing now. Jake Retzlaff is done at BYU. The good news is the lawsuit against Jake Retzlaff accusing him of just heinous sexual crimes has been withdrawn with prejudice. And I think that is significant because it cannot be refiled. The woman accusing Jake Retzlaff of sexual assault and just all kinds of things we don't need to detail. That lawsuit has been withdrawn with prejudice, which means she cannot refile it. Does that mean there was a settlement? At this point, we don't know. I think that's the likelihood that there was a settlement. That doesn't mean that those are the facts. And I want to make that very clear. We have no idea. We have no finality as to how this case was resolved. But one thing is very clear. Jake Retzlaff will never play another down of football at BYU. He either transfers and goes somewhere else. He is a graduate. He can transfer immediately. Not a problem. If he stays at BYU, he is looking at what some are reporting to be a 7-game honor code suspension. I would be surprised if that is the I don't know, the punishment for violating the honor code. That doesn't seem like much of a punishment. I think it's very rare to see an honor code violation of a sexual nature and not have that person withdraw immediately for some amount of time. We've seen it in the past. I don't think there's any doubt that was always going to be the outcome here. But for somebody like Jake Retzlaff, there is no good ending. There is no positive outcome here. Jake Retzlaff is now forever going to be an accused rapist. Jake Retzlaff is forever going to lose the final year of his eligibility at BYU. We will never know how prolific of a quarterback he could have been. And it feels like almost no matter where Jake Retzlaff lands, he's worse off because of these allegations that he denies, point blank, says it never happened. Jake, the problem here is we've seen this movie before, and whether you're guilty or innocent, it ends poorly for you.
Absolutely. And I think, there clearly is 2 points here. Number one, Jake Retzlaff made a bad decision, and there's no real getting away from that. I think, the moment that you decided to enroll at BYU, you decided to live a certain lifestyle and obviously went against that commitment with these choices. And, so I think that's the first thing is that, everyone needs to accept that, most of this is on Jake, whether we like it or not. He made a choice. He opened himself up to this girl. He let her in, and, that didn't work out well for him. So that's the first thing. I think the second thing that's hard is that we don't know, what actually happened. We'll never know what actually happened. We don't know, how accurate the claims are to reality. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. The problem is we'll never know. And I think that's the difficult part of these situations is we all feel, we all have our opinions, our emotions around, what we think this looks like. But the reality is we're never going to know. And I think that's what's frustrating about it is sitting here, watching a kid like Jake go to BYU, obviously mature into being a really good quarterback. Yes, had things to work on, but certainly was leading them to great places, to now have this issue come up off of a couple of really bad decisions off the football field. And now we don't know where, obviously you're going to go or where his career takes him. Everyone on X today speculating about Notre Dame and, what's his next school. I think we're getting ahead of it. I think that there's a really good chance that Jake Retzlaff has been working hard, keeping himself in shape and everything. But I don't know. I think it's unclear how easy it will be for him to find a new team and a new home.
Oh, I think that's exactly right. It's June 1st, and he still is not withdrawn, and we haven't seen his name in the transfer portal. I think that's significant. And I think with this lawsuit withdrawn, that's a huge win for Jake Retzlaff. But you cannot excuse the fact that Jake Retzlaff made a decision to have sex with a woman that has very strong ties to the Utah football program, allegedly, according to this filing. You look at the fact that she filed a civil lawsuit, allegedly went and sought medical care days after this sexual assault happened, allegedly. And then according to Jake Retzlaff's response, she filed a lawsuit, he filed a response. According to his response, they had amicable, lighthearted text messages exchanges long after this event took place into reportedly February of 2024. This happened Thanksgiving 2023. We're talking about 3-4 months later. And all of this because you didn't pay attention to what happened with Trevor Bauer. Because if it is in fact true, and if the picture that's being painted of this woman is true, she's a Utah fan who, it cannot be looked past, may have had an agenda, and in my opinion, I think it's a really important talking point, may have had an agenda to target Jake Retzlaff at BYU. He's not LDS. He's Jewish. He is not in the LDS community. He is an outsider at BYU. How difficult is that, do you think, to target somebody like that with a woman from Salt Lake City?
And I think, California roots, and I bring that up just to say, like, typically, football players in California, in my experience, are definitely more social and more are great with people. California is a place where you're outside all the time, you're with your friends all the time. I just feel like it's guys from California just are good with people typically, and this is somebody who again, let's not forget his story, right? Obviously didn't get the starting job in high school, had to grind that out, and only got an opportunity due to injury. And then basically since then, balled his ass off, and then, got all the way to BYU, earned that job over the other options. And then, the first year was pretty average, didn't know the playbook, obviously was learning it. We all remember that season, and just grew from there. So I think what's difficult here is that, like, personally, I have a problem with the idea that, hey, like, this happened several years ago, like his first year in the state.
Yeah.
And then there's this rise to prominence that happens through his hard work and his dedication to what he does. And then this pops up. And I'm not just saying that today. I brought that point up the day this came out. I was like, hey, well, this is kind of interesting timing. So again, like I said 5 minutes ago, we all have our feelings around this, and I certainly have a lot of opinions on it. But I think what it really comes down to is, yeah, there may have been an agenda. Yeah, I mean, this is really the first time.
How do you let this happen?
Yeah, and that's what's hard is, like, I part of me agrees with that. Like, how do you not have the foresight as the starting quarterback at BYU to say, maybe and let me rephrase that, because we need to be careful with that, because at the time this happened, he wasn't the starting quarterback at BYU.
He was a nothing.
He was a nothing. And so again, that just brings me back to, hey, well, wait a minute. Like, what was the goal here? And part of me, and again, all speculation, no facts, just me thinking off the top of my head.
Your opinion.
I'm sitting here looking at this story developing, and I'm like, well, hold on a second. This happened when you basically just showed up on the scene in Provo and you weren't anybody. You guys did what you did. And then this just kind of hung out for, a year and a half or whatever. And now you've grown in prominence and stature, and now this popped up. And so I've always felt like it never quite added up to me.
But what did I say when this news broke? There's a reason it didn't go criminal.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, the reason is there wasn't enough evidence.
Right.
The Provo Police Department straight up said there was no actionable evidence. So if the timeline is to be believed, this event happened Thanksgiving 2023. 2 days later, according to reports, she goes to the hospital, has a rape kit done. And then nothing. Nothing. And you're texting back and forth all through December, all through January, into February. Nothing. Jake goes on to win the job, 11-2, and now you want to file a lawsuit.
Yeah, it feels like you guys did your thing. You talked for a couple of months, fizzled out, like college kids, totally get it. You guys went on with your life. Dude goes on to ball out, and they have a great year. Disappointing in the end, I think we all agree, but great year. And then this pops up. And what's so odd to me is that it popped up. It went public the day you got back from going to Jerusalem and taking a huge trip and doing those. So I don't know, man. It's really difficult to sit here and be like, yeah, well, Jake Retzlaff did this to this girl, and it doesn't all add up. And that's what I have a lot of trouble with. And it's certainly that I don't know, honestly, if the Utah BYU dynamic has legs. It certainly works. It certainly could make sense. I think at a minimum, what we should be saying is that this is definitely a chapter in the Utah BYU book. No question about it. Utah fan, gets BYU starting quarterback, in some trouble. Yeah, I definitely think it's a conversation. But I just sit here and I say, dude, we're we're on the precipice of Big 12 media days, and BYU should be talking about portal activity, the season ahead, Jake Retzlaff, leading this team. And now instead we're going to talk about portal activity. How does the team get past this? What are you focused on?
Yeah.
And the quarterback battle that is inevitably going to have to take place in this camp again. And that to me is the bigger issue. We never because I think you're right. The Trevor Bauer thing is a perfect, example of this. A similar case, similar situation. We obviously got way more information about what happened in the Trevor Bauer case than we got here. But I think what's really interesting is we're going to sit here and we're going to watch Big 12 media days go down. And the questions about BYU of Kalani Sitake are going to be, well, hey, coach, how does how do you interpret what happened or what happened? And he's just going to have to no comment his ass off and say, we're focused on football. And so what I don't want to happen is for it to be this thing where it's like, no comment, or I can't talk about it or whatever. And it's a storyline the whole year. I mean,
I think it will be a storyline at Big 12 media days. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I will just sit here and continue to tell you, if you are a father, you need to talk to your sons and daughters about this. If you are, I just don't know how this mathed out for Jake Retzlaff. If it was just purely a sexual conquest, I guess I can at least understand that, right? You're a kid. You have signed an agreement in the Honor Code that you will live a chaste lifestyle. You will not have sex outside of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But how many times are we going to talk about the trappings of social media? How many times are we going to talk about the trappings of sex? How many times are we going to talk about parents who don't want to talk to their kids about the trappings of social media and sex? How many times is this going to happen to a professional athlete where you wind up, of your own fault or not, it's your fault, Trevor Bauer. It's your fault, Jake Retzlaff. It's your fault, Kobe Bryant. It's your fault. You name it. How many guys are going to go through this before somebody says, yeah, I know this girl's hot and I know she's on Instagram and she's paying attention to me. I probably shouldn't do this because this has danger written all over it. And I'm talking about not high profile BYU quarterback, your son, your daughter, your nephew, your neighbor. How many times are we going to see this? And how many daughters are going to fall into this situation? Because we're all sitting here probably assuming that she's a gold digger after a paycheck. She's a Utah fan. She's trying to crush BYU. That's all well and good. What if this actually happened? What if what this woman's accusing Jake Retzlaff of actually happened exactly how she said it happened? Because do you understand what an absolute dark soul you have to be to make up the lies that she allegedly made up if you believe Jake Retzlaff? Because what did he do by saying he is not guilty, he is innocent of all of these charges? What did he say about that woman?
She's lying.
She's a liar.
Yeah.
She made it all up.
Yeah.
What if she didn't lie? And what if she didn't make it up and this actually happened? So again, we can sit here and theorize. We probably will never know. My guess is that settlement's going to be sealed and there will be a non-disclosure. But I think it's time that people stop making the same mistake over and over again. I don't get it. The other part of this that I think is so important, BYU in no way, shape, or form should alter or bend the Honor Code. Just shouldn't. And I don't know how many people realize this. BYU doesn't hide from the Honor Code in athletics. They use it as a recruiting tool. And you can point to AJ DeBansa, you can point to Jake Retzlaff. Any BYU athlete who is being recruited is talked to about the Honor Code by that head coach in that moment. They sit down, they read it together, they talk through it, and that kid signs it.
Well, and wouldn't you agree that at a minimum, before you agree to have, Kalani Sitake come to your house, you've thought to yourself and probably asked the question, would I even be okay playing under those like circumstance, or not even playing, living in that like circumstance and situation, right? So if BYU calls you or reaches out, you can't tell me that the first thought is like, hey, well, what does that mean? How do I have to live to make sure I'm in compliance? Like, kids are not stupid.
The recruiters talk to them about it. It is not something they're hiding from.
Yeah.
So I just think there's this whole crowd that's like, oh, Jake's being done wrong. No, he's not. BYU is treating him unfairly. No, they're not.
Yeah, I don't understand the outrage on X about the honor code. It's not difficult to understand. It's been in existence for how long? Like I just don't think it's that difficult. And again, there's been plenty of athletes, now and in the past, and I'm sure in the future, that are going to thrive at BYU and not get sued for the things she was alleging.
And there are 10 times as many athletes who won't go to BYU because of the honor code.
Which, again, is fine.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yep.
Like, don't say yes and then break it and look like an idiot. Like, you can't do that.
To anybody who's telling you that it is unjust, that it is unrealistic, that it is punitive and it's not fair and it's against their right. No, it's not.
No, what's not fair is Jake Retzlaff making a bad decision that's going to cost hundreds of kids a good football season at BYU, because there's no way about it. And I don't care how much of a BYU homer you are. Like, there may be a quarterback on that roster 7 games into the season that just blows people's doors off and is amazing and is some kind of sensation. That may happen. I don't know. But what I do know is a fact is this team is not nearly as confident heading into the season as they were.
No, they don't have a proven performer at quarterback.
And once again, here we are talking about, hey, who's BYU going to put at quarterback? Because we've been talking about this, 3 out of the last 5 years, right? That's been the conversation. Y'all wanted, Bohannon, we had, how many different names the last several years? And it was nice that we could finally start talking about the defense a little bit. Let's talk about the running room. Let's even talk about the O-line. But we can't do that anymore. So I just think if you're the person saying it's unjust, it's not fair, it's, somehow Jake Retzlaff isn't being treated properly.
Yeah.
Listen, he's come on the show a bunch of times. That's as far as I know him. And in those times when he's come on the show, he seems like a decent guy. Seems like a good dude. Most people say he's a good dude. So again, if a good dude makes a bad decision, you got to deal with those consequences. So as far as I'm concerned, he's not been treated unfairly. He signed a document. It's basic contract law. You violated that clause. You're out of BYU. Let's see where you land. Because he's going to now show us who he really is.
Yeah.
You got to figure out where you're going.
I think it'll be interesting to see how all this plays out and what exactly this is. But don't get this wrong. Jake Retzlaff is 100% responsible for the position he finds himself in. He made a decision, and a really bad decision, that put him in the jackpot here. And
we've all dudes have been in this position. Hey, I'm going to a party. I'm in a certain situation. I've got a certain opportunity to get physical with somebody. Should I or should I not take that opportunity? What are the implications of taking advantage of that opportunity? We have all been there. We have all had the opportunity to say yes or to say no. And, based on that decision, good or bad things will happen for you. I don't think, I agree with that completely. And people get all pissy in the comments section when you say things like that he's 100% responsible for this.
No doubt.
But I agree with it. I mean, she never would have had the opportunity to civilly sue you if you'd have not done if you'd have just simply not let her through your door.
If you had not gotten on social media, you had never met this woman before. Let this sink in. You'd never met this woman before. And I think it's important to tell this story Jake Retzlaff and this woman chatted on social media for a certain amount of time. They were planning to meet each other. It never worked out. Jake Retzlaff said, hey, I'm having a party with some friends. They're going to come over, teammates. We're going to play some video games. Why don't you come on over and hang out? Great. The woman agrees. She brings a friend with her. They hang out. By all accounts, it goes well. The friend that the girl brought with her left. Everybody left. Retzlaff and the Jane Doe are apparently laying in bed watching a movie. And depending on what you believe, at a minimum, they had consensual sex, which Jake Retzlaff admitted to in a court filing. She says a heinous sexual assault took place. And at that point, she allegedly leaves. We don't know who she outcried to. There are varying reports about what she told the police on what timeline. Hey, I don't want to name this guy. Then the police said to her, well, there's another football player being investigated for a sexual assault. We'd really like that name. She agrees a little bit later to tell them it's Jake Retzlaff. She gets a rape kit 2 days after the alleged assault happened. There's no actionable evidence. She sits on it for about a year and a half and then files a civil lawsuit. And it just, it does not ring true to me. It does not ring true to me at all. And I will again say, if Jake Retzlaff signed the honor code, this is Jake Retzlaff's fault. He made a decision to hook up with a girl he had never met the first time he met her. And as a high-profile quarterback at BYU, you got to be better than that. As a quarterback, you cannot, because it's alleged that this woman had sex with multiple Utah football players and was known to the Utah football program, allegedly. Did you not know that? You're hooking up with it. Like, it's just, the whole thing sucks.
Yeah.
And again, you committed to a chaste lifestyle when you took your junior college offer from BYU. You committed to a chaste lifestyle. And I like Jake as a guy from our limited exposure to him. He was a phenomenal quarterback at BYU. He's in this position because he made bad decisions. It is what it is. And everybody's speculating where he's going to go and what he's going to do. And nobody knows where he's going. He's not officially in the transfer portal. I'm telling you, it just won't, it doesn't end well. And as far as BYU goes, here's the problem for BYU. BYU doesn't have a proven quarterback. And again, I'm going to tell you, if you're the BYU fan who's like, oh, Jake throws too many interceptions, and okay, look at what's on your roster. Because how many BYU fans were on Twitter over the weekend being like, oh, good, I'm glad he's gone. He fumbles and he turns the ball over and we've got better behind him. Who's better behind him? Because I'm telling you now, I know that roster inside and out. And I can tell you that when I look up and down their quarterbacks, Trayson Bourgette is not better than Jake Retzlaff. They're not even in the same zip code. Not even in the same zip code. You look at like McKay Hillstead, go look at his limited exposure and then tell me he's a better option than Jake Retzlaff.
It's not the best situation, and we all know that.
It's not. It's not. And you start to try and guess and hope and wonder, and there is nothing
That's
behind.
What I'm saying. It's a futile exercise because you don't know anything about any of these guys yet. You haven't seen them at the college level. You haven't seen them against college talent. And I think that, ultimately.
No, you have. McKay Hillstead, in his 1 year at Utah State, threw the ball 158 times. And 8 of those were interceptions. He's not good. He's not ready. He's not proven.
Yeah.
You have a Heisman Trophy candidate in Jake Retzlaff if he comes back. So the idea that BYU fan is hoping to push him out the door, dude, watch what you wish for because you just might get it. That'd be my point.
Yeah.
So the guy had the opportunity to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. All right, let's see. Who's first up today? MAGA Boy 29. A member for 18. Is that Wasikowski? Because he says Scooble. Okay. Lee Jensen, please someone help my Jazz. A member for 29 months.
Nice.
I don't understand why we gave up a pick. Help. Anyway, I hope everyone here is having a great year. If there's anything I could do to help y'all, I'd love to help. Bacavo, you know. We'll talk about the Jazz coming up, Lee, but this situation with the trades and the buyouts and what did you get for Colin Sexton? And I agree with everybody who says, well, hey, if they turn, big boy into another player and it allows them to go big game hunting. Okay, cool.
Still
I get
waiting
that.
for the big game hunting.
Still waiting for that to happen. Jesse Crum. If Jake goes to a non-Big 12 school, another loss for the conference. I agree.
Yeah.
And at this point, there's not a program in this league that needs a starting quarterback.
Well, and I think the real question is how is he viewed nationally? I mean, if you're someone that's outside of the state, outside of the Big 12, I mean, is this a situation where a potential program would say, well, let's ask Jake, what happened here? Let's get his side of the story and talk to him and see what's going on. Or is this more of a hands-off approach where you're saying, nope, he was part of that lawsuit. He got in trouble at BYU. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and pass on him. That's what I think you have to figure out if you're Jake Retzlaff. Because again, and this is what I think makes the whole situation worse for Jake, is that it's not like you just came off your freshman year, bro. Like, no. You don't have seasons left in college.
No, you're in combine prep.
Yeah,
you're going to the NFL.
So the idea that this guy can just go anywhere is ridiculous. This guy has to go somewhere where he'll be on national TV regularly. He can compete for the postseason on some level. I'm not saying he's got to go win a natty, but it'd just be nice to be able to compete somewhere. And he's got to be really good. I don't know where that is.
I don't know either. It won't be in the Big 12.
Because you can't tell me, because everyone's like, oh, Notre Dame. You can't tell me Notre Dame's excited to go after Jake. Like, come on, dude.
It's a Catholic university.
You're not doing that.
No.
So come on.
No. Kyle, exactly. Utah fan or not, don't break the honor code, and this wouldn't have been an issue. And I know that seems very simplistic, but you know what you're getting into when you go to BYU. There are no surprises.
I just don't understand what Jake Retzlaff thought to himself. This is the part that I can't really wrap my head around. You knew the consequences, right? Like, take the girl out of it for a moment. Take the lawsuit portion out of the conversation. Jake Retzlaff, at one point in this process, said to himself, yeah, I think I can get away with this, right? At some point, you had to have said that to yourself because you can't tell me, because this guy's not stupid.
I'm going to have sex in my off-campus apartment and not get caught.
Like, is that not what, I mean, at some point you had to say that to yourself. You had to say, yep, she's going to come over. Like, if it was me and I had signed the honor code and I was a starting quarterback at BYU, I would have been like, all right, finally, like I haven't really had any action. We've been good. I've been football focused.
Haven't unpacked. Haven't
done anything.
Nothing.
Friends, teammates want to have some folks over. We're going to hang out and have a good time. And even right there, I might have said, let me just make sure I don't mess this up. But then you went a step further, right? Everyone left, allegedly. Everyone leaves, and it's just you and her, allegedly.
Watching a movie on your bed.
What are we doing? Like, what made you think it was okay? Like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, not like, I mean, let me just go through the list. Okay. NFL is number 1 on the list. NFL is number 2 on the list. NFL is number 3 on the list. Then there's the honor code. Then there's all your teammates. Then there's your family. Like, dude, you've put the NFL in jeopardy here, bro. Like, now you're going to have to go and ball out.
You have probably lost generational wealth, because I got news for you about this transfer thing, and everybody gets all excited. And if you are a Division I program, if you're a power conference program, are you in a position where you're like, yeah, we'll bring in a new guy that doesn't know the playbook, has no idea about our language, and we'll start him and we'll wind up in the college football playoff?
Seems legit.
How are you doing that? There is not a power conference team of note that is going to be like, well, yeah, let me bring him in. He'll start. No, he won't.
So then after that, then we get to, well, can Jake do something like, let's say, LaMelo Ball did? Go a completely different route, go overseas, no, you can't. You can't go to the Australian Football League.
Are you going to go to the UFL that doesn't
right? Like, you're gonna
have
go to
a
Canada?
pathway?
Like,
No.
come on, dude. Come on,
it's
bro.
tough. OSU Cowboy country. So now we're not a TCU fan or a Baylor fan anymore.
What happened to Horny James, dude?
If I'm Jake Retzlaff, I would go to USC. What, are you just going to tell Jaden Mayava to get lost? Again, Lincoln Riley is going to, let me get this right. At USC, where Lincoln Riley's seat is probably hot, he's going to take an accused sexual assaulter and make him the starting quarterback over a guy who's been in the system for over a year. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening at all. Not Los Angeles. He's a teenager. No, he isn't. No, I think Jake Retzlaff is much older than that. He is no longer. I think he's in his 20s. I could be wrong. Remember, he spent 2 years in JUCO. I want to say he's 23. I could be wrong. I have to look up his age because it doesn't immediately come up for whatever reason. But I believe he's 23 years old, or 22 years old. 2003, baby.
Come on.
Just turned 22.
Come on.
You can't. And listen, Mike, we can agree to disagree. I don't care if your hormones are out of control. Don't go to BYU then.
Yeah. And
we talked about this in our pre-show meeting today. Jake Retzlaff is probably in peak physical condition.
How many options has this dude had coming out of JUCO? You tell me that BYU is your only option.
Not many. He had how about not many options?
Okay, cool. So you had not many options. So let me get this right. See, and this is proving the point for all the people, with all due respect, Mike, or whoever wants to disagree. So you didn't have many options. So you thought it would be a good idea inside of your first year in the state of Utah and on the roster to do this. That's a bad decision, dude. And secondly, and again, my opinion, speculation, say what you want. You did it. You talked for a couple of months after. Things kind of fizzled. And you were so confident that nothing would come from this that you just stayed the course. Just kept walking the path. That's the other thing I don't understand.
Yeah.
So this allegedly goes down. He allegedly sexually assaulted someone. And then they talked for a couple of months after. And you didn't think it was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. That's what I'm saying.
It is crazy.
I don't, something happened here that we're never going to know about. I don't know. They either had some type of agreement to keep this quiet and then he upset her and she, doubled back on it, or I don't know. But
I tend to believe what the filing said. I think this I don't want to speculate. My opinion is his performance last season probably ushered in this lawsuit. That is my opinion. Because why else, if you are a young woman in this position and it was as heinous as you say it was, I fully believe you would have pressed charges. And if it is true, the allegations and reports that she had relations with multiple Utah football players, I don't know how to digest it any other way. And we'll never know the truth. But my opinion, I don't know how much more I can state that my opinion is we don't know what actually happened. And we'll probably never know what actually happened. I hate it because we should never have been here.
Yep.
A bad decision by Jake Retzlaff put us here. And it's really unfortunate. Travis Bird. Hey, play it. Notre Dame has a quarterback of the future. No, we don't. Notre Dame does not. But Monty says, I just hope Jake Retzlaff balls out wherever he ends up. Yeah, me too. I have no ill will for the kid.
No.
I hope that Jake is a really nice guy.
Yeah, I don't have ill will, but that doesn't mean I'm not frustrated with the decision making.
Yeah, it's
it's genuinely frustrating.
You know what, son? Like, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, the worst of the worst, dude.
It's terrible. It is really disappointing. Really, really disappointing. Brain Paint. Mike, why'd you change your name to Brain Paint? For most young students, honor code is pretty unrealistic, especially for football players coming in that have no ties to the religion.
But again, I don't even disagree with you, but then don't agree to it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, right? Like, if it's unrealistic for you, like, don't do it. I agree. Like, I would never agree to play at BYU. I would not. And hey, if that means I don't have loads of offers, we need to look at a different path. I need to get better at the JUCO level so more people will pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and forfeit, 3 seasons in most cases of my sex life so I can play at BYU. Like, if it's not a fit for you, cool, dude.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, I don't know. Jeremy Bolton, from what I understand, she didn't want to initially name Jake in the suit against him, correct?
Which is part of the speculation.
Allegedly, according to the Provo police, she initially was hesitant to name Jake Retzlaff because she was worried about the repercussions of accusing him. So you filed a civil lawsuit. You were so worried about repercussions? Do you guys see how unfair the system is? Because I think you have to look at both sides of this. In Jake's case, if his side of the story is true, we met on social media, she came to an event, we had sex, she went home. She then, 18 months later, files a civil lawsuit with the name Jane Doe. And his life is forever changed and altered. That girl could walk up to any of us right now and we'd have no idea who that is. And if you believe Jake, she's a predator. Right? She's a predator. She is somebody that only came after him for financial gain after he became an NFL prospect, according to his filing. Now, if you believe her, how incredibly unfair is it that you were sexually assaulted in a heinous manner and you're just so scared because the guy who sexually assaulted you is an NFL prospect and a starting quarterback at BYU. You're so frightened you don't want to put his name out there.
Yeah.
I continue to tell you, nobody wins here. I don't know. I don't know if he paid her. I don't know if there was a settlement. I have no idea. I can tell you Jake does not come from money. Jake Retzlaff does not come from a wealthy background. And as we have told you in the past, when he was on the show, he was struggling to figure out how to have a car that would run consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't come from money. Now, he got the Manischewitz deal and other NIL stuff. And hey, maybe that's what made him a target. And maybe if there was a settlement paid, I'm not saying that there was. I'm just speculating that if a settlement was paid, maybe that's how he paid it. I don't know. Yeah. But it's crazy to me that the juxtaposition of these two folks and what you believe, because if you believe Jake, she's a liar and a gold digger. If you believe the woman, Jake is a heinous sexual assaulting predator. Who wins out of that? Nobody. There's no winning.
Hope he learned his lesson, man.
Me too. I hope he learned his lesson. A kid will sign it if it's the best offer they are going to get. Right, but that doesn't matter. The honor code is not, hey, take it or leave it. It's part of what BYU is. And if you sign that document, You need to abide by the tenets of the document. You
That's
agreed
simple.
to live a virtuous and chaste lifestyle. It's as simple as that. And I don't understand why people can't understand. BYU is not Fresno State. BYU is a university founded on, run by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They don't give a rat's ass about winning football games when it comes to, hey, what layer of heaven are you going to? They're more concerned if you're watching R-rated movies than what your passing percentage is. And that is not an exaggeration. So you know that going to BYU. You do. And it's stuff like this, the honor code's an overreach. No, it's not. No, it is not.
Yeah, I would love for you to explain why the honor code is an overreach, dude.
Why is this so hard for people to understand? Nobody had a gun to Jake Retzlaff's head when he signed the honor code. In fact, during the recruiting process, they speak to you and your family about what the expectations are and what your life at BYU will be like. It is not like go up the freeway if you want to smash all year long. Go to the University of Utah. Because if you're at BYU, you're not smoking, you're not drinking. Women of the opposite sex are not allowed in your dorm room.
You are focused on football and going to class, and that's it.
And being a good Christian. That's it. Notice I didn't say being a good, Mormon. I said being a good Christian. That's what that's about. Period. It is what it is. You wish you were me. What is up with all the weird names today?
Yeah, I don't understand.
There are so many people that have weird names today. Just as good of a chance she knew she was going to get countersued. My guess is no money changed hands, but Jake agreed not to countersue. I believe he did countersue. And maybe they withdrew it with prejudice, which means it can never be filed again. So whatever the lever that was pulled to get this lawsuit withdrawn or dropped, however you want to put it, they went into court, they filed and said, we're never going to file this again. Please withdraw it. And a judge agreed. Big Daddy Magic Q3R.
What?
No idea. Hey, Monty. Hi, Big Daddy Magic. I just think it's very interesting. It's not unfair. It is not unjust, but it is unrealistic that a young man is not going to have sex or drink alcohol. No, it is
dude,
not.
You're being stubborn, dude.
It is not unrealistic.
Stop talking to me about what a college kid, would or probably wants to do. You made a choice not to. You signed a piece of paper that said, I won't do this while I am at BYU. Stop talking to me about what college kids would do or maybe want to do or are capable of. We all know, dude, they're in the best shape of their life. They're rocked up. We get it, dude. Not at BYU, you're not, though.
Jamal Williams, the NFL running back, withdrew from BYU after he got a ticket for possession of alcohol by consumption.
It bothers me, dude. This is not difficult to understand. Stop making this harder than it needs to be. It's a piece of paper that you signed. It's basic.
I will not
law.
do A, B, C, or D.
And if I do them, I will face discipline, including, potentially being expelled. It's not hard to understand.
Yeah.
And once again, BYU doesn't run from it. They are forthright. They are upfront. Hey, we would love for you to be our starting quarterback. We would love for you to be on ESPN every week. Yeah. We would love for you to be the face of our school. But to do that, you have to agree to this. So what do you think?
BYU is not, think about it, the money that professional athletes make. You know how we joke on the show, professional athletes are not, it's not real life. The money that these NBA players, it's monopoly. It's not real. You can't fathom it. You can't fathom the lifestyle that it is to be a student at BYU And even BYU Provo is not even their most strict campus. I cannot explain to you. I know people, and I've talked about this before. BYU Idaho. I have a friend who was expelled from BYU Idaho for having an R-rated movie in his dorm room. Not watching it, having it. And how did they find out he had it? One of his fellow dorm mates turned him into the Honor Code committee. And they expelled him. So you're not living in the real world. You're not living it. And in Mike's case, you're not living at West Virginia. Like it's a completely different thing. OSU Cowboy Country. I just read a tweet that said Retzlaff is going to Baylor. Guy, do you fall for everything you read? Let me get this right. Fucking Baylor is going to bring in a quarterback.
What happened to Sawyer?
No, forget all that. Do you think Baylor's bringing in an athlete who has been accused of a heinous sexual assault? After what's gone on I don't know who tweeted that at you.
The dynasty is not over.
After what's gone on at BYU or at Baylor, you really think they're going to take a guy who's been accused of, among other things, suffocating a woman to the point where she passed out? She was in so much pain, she passed out. At Baylor, you think they're going to do that? How gullible are you? He's not even in the transfer portal yet, man.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it?
He's going to Baylor.
If he went to Baylor, would Baylor be your number one team out of the 57 that you support? Or
do you hear? Bro.
Venice Parade.
It's fine. Brain Paint, YouTube reverting to original usernames now. I have no idea what this is about.
Oh, is that what this is about?
Is that what this is? That's so strange to me.
That's weird.
I don't know, Mike. That is, Mike's been a member for 23 months. Thank you, Mike. That's weird. Like, why is it doing that? So strange. David E. Persons, our newest member on YouTube. Thank you, David. Appreciate you being in the membership. Matt Ritson for $2. Jake Retzlaff could go to Stanford or Cal. They need quarterbacks. Don't think you're getting into Stanford. Jeff Benzos. Monty, how much you want to bet he goes to Notre Dame? 2.2 million NIL. Okay, so think through that. You think a university where you have to go to church every day. You have to go to mass at Notre Dame. It's a Catholic university. If there's ever a Catholic university, it's Notre Dame. You think they're going to admit a guy who is just settled, excuse me, that was incorrect, who just had a lawsuit dropped against him, where in said lawsuit he was accused of a heinous sexual assault? You think Manti Te'o's dead girlfriend was a problem? Come on now. Come on.
Yeah, so this YouTube name thing apparently is going crazy.
Oh, is it really?
Apparently this is a huge deal. Apparently YouTube is piloting going back to your original YouTube, what they're referring to it as your handle, your original YouTube name, because there were too many people are speculating that there were too many bots and impersonators. So now they're going back that YouTube has changed the policy or is piloting it. So that's why that's happening.
Boy, some people are going to get exposed. I was kind of wondering if our guy MAGA Boy.
Yeah, what's MAGA Boy's name now?
No, it's MAGA Boy.
Oh, it is MAGA Boy. Yeah,
Wasikowski.
Yeah.
Jake Retzlaff is better than either of QBs at Oak State. So you're okay with Jake Retzlaff at Oak State?
Are you endorsing Jake Retzlaff to Oak State?
I'd love to see him in orange and black, or maybe in purple. Why would he go to TCU? I don't know if you know. Do you know what TCU stands for?
Wait. Hold on. Texas, right? Texas.
Chastity University. Well, wait. I think.
What, Monty? They're the Horned Frogs. I got confused. What's the problem?
I believe it's Chast Lifestyle. Texas is Chast Lifestyle. I believe they're the 11th best football program in the state.
Do they have the horny code, Monty? You know,
Texas Christian University. That's why I said the hard part for Jake Retzlaff, there's just a bunch of universities who have got a red line through his name if he enters the portal.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
And it ain't Baylor. I can't believe you really
Monty,
believe.
is that true?
Am I the only one who finds that irony unbelievable? There's no way that you are taking. And yeah, they have a quarterback who you've all told me is going to win the Heisman Trophy.
Stay hard.
Yeah, what happened to Sawyer, dude?
Come on.
But he's not your guy anymore?
TJ Beck. Guys. Hey, guys. What is the deal with Pedo State and their athletes and coaches?
TJ, stop.
Carter Starochi. Did you guys hear about this?
Dude.
Speaking of lawsuits and heinous sexual acts.
Bro.
And I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. I just saw the story. Carter Starochi is a prolific wrestler at Penn State who's being accused of some really terrible things. Cock on thigh wins again. Like, that's who Penn State is. I will continue to tell you, when somebody says, hey, this is who I am, believe them. Believe them. You went through Sandusky, Paterno, and then you hired James Franklin with his checkered past at Vandy, only to have those same things that were alleged to happen at Vandy happen again at Penn State. And now a star wrestler. Come on. It's culture, man. David Persons, a member for 6 months. Stupid decisions produce stupid consequences. Truer words have never been spoken. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, man. Mayor McCluskey. Guys. Hey, guys. Breaking news. Retzlaff just signed with future SEC powerhouse Utah Tech.
You have a deal.
Mark it down. Okay. I miss you so much, Jeremy Bolton. I was playing really bad golf yesterday up at Wasatch Mountain. I could have used the levity.
Monty, he is redefining the term TDS.
That's right. Good to see you, buddy. The stadium guy, James, a member for 25 months. I don't believe Jake is going to Baylor. Is that why you DM'd us and tweeted at us? And Hank wouldn't. Jake says you tweeted at us.
You're slobbering over the tweet. Don't lie to me.
Let me see. I'm going to do something I don't normally do.
Yeah, what are you doing, dude?
I'm going to get in my Twitter notifications.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yes, you did tweet at us. Yes, you I didn't believe it.
Yes, you did.
I don't believe it.
Monty.
All right, let's see if I look at the account that James tweeted at us, right? Some jerkwagon named Carson TK, football analyst. All right, let's go to 85 followers. 85 followers. And it says right in his bio, this is a parody account. Oh, State James, you make it so easy.
With this tweet. First problem. After entering the transfer portal 48 hours ago.
Which he has not done yet.
Monty?
Hey, Monty.
He's not even in the portal.
Hey, Monty.
Jackass.
I got to tell you something. He's going to Baylor. Erroneous!
Dude, facts.
Erroneous on both counts.
Like what? James. Oh my God. You know a lot about football, so I wanted to double check.
So now you're glossing my guy here to get out of your situation here. Well, Monty, I never said he was going to Baylor. I just wanted to ask if you had any sourcing. What? My guy on the sideline didn't have any information on this, unfortunately.
I'm just over here in the rectory.
Yeah, boy.
Chewy Gonzalez, a member for 7 months. He's going to Pedo State. He fits right in.
Right.
You know,
right.
I don't. My personal opinion is I don't believe Jake Retzlaff did what he's accused of. And I think it's 100% his fault he's in this position. I think it's brutal. I wish you guys had talked to your kids. I really do. Chewy Gonzalez for $2. Jake could also end up at Shannon Sharp University. See, now he's making the correlations. Well, he's going to PDU, bud.
Did you guys see their the jury
is deliberating.
So
are you surprised it's taken this long?
No. I mean,
okay, so they raid P. Diddy's estate.
Right.
Did you guys see like the boxes of lotion that they found? What is it, baby lotion or whatever?
Yeah. Like
Bro.
pallets of it, dude. Cases.
You know. David Persons, however, forgiveness is important too. Bro, I would love to see forgiveness injected into our society. That's not going to happen. That's not who we are as people, in my opinion. And I'm probably jaded, and I don't know that many people would be surprised by that. But, you know, I think it sucks. The stadium guy, James.
Okay. What's the spin cycle here?
I was multitasking. I should have read it more closely. Look, I'm in the rectory. I'm trying to get the body and the blood of Christ ready here. And I see Pedo State and I instantly start praying. You know,
Quote, multitasking.
Yeah, I was multitasking. I got the
just
body
flipping around on your phone, right?
I've got the body of Christ. I've got the blood of Christ. I've got the gospel of Christ. You know, I mean, I've got stuff I'm doing over here. I've got a 6 o'clock class to talk about the body of Christ.
I just want to thank you all.
You know, thanks for coming. Oh, Geoff, let's go.
Bro.
He says waves in opposition. Exactly.
Waves in opposition. I need a dick.
Okay. Wow. Do you guys know what we're talking?
Bro, how?
Waves in opposition. I need a dick. He's an opponent. Waves in opposition. Holden Hiscock is also an opponent. Hiscock.
It's still one of the great, and that's real.
Bro.
You went from Anita Dick to Holden Hiscock.
I need a dick.
What?
Hiscock.
Okay, bud. Very good. Welcome to Florida. Like,
Bro.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It puts the lotion on its skin. Okay.
Yeah.
Mike Smith, Backwoods Sexy. The names are back. But Monty, Jake Retzlaff is going to play at the 7th best team in Texas for the best traveling fans in the world. I've heard that.
I am.
I've heard that.
Yeah, dude.
Corpus Christi. Look up the video for the new newscaster in the plane crash with the oh, dude.
Yeah, that's iconic, bro.
That is San Francisco. Funny story, Mike Smith. I won a Murrow Award for that. I happened to be
not the names. Not
No.
the names.
No. I happened to be on the air the day that the Asiana Airlines plane crashed in San Francisco. It actually slammed the tail of the plane down. And what Mike is talking about, one of the most respected television news people in San Francisco was on television days later, not even the day of the crash, days later. And she breaks in with news. We've received the name of the crew that was on the plane. It was operating the Asiana flight. Here are their names. And it was, I'm not even going to say them because it was like heinous Asian slurs.
Yeah.
Like it was just not
good.
Yeah. Brutal. But Monty's
No.
Geoff says classic. It was classic. All right. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show, as always, presented by our good friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, your best daily fantasy partner, you guys. I love it. I crushed it this weekend, and I will continue to tell you, when you play Prize Picks Major League Baseball, it's awfully difficult to lose. It is remarkable, the pure domination. I don't know how I do it. I think it's partially because of my good looks. I could be wrong about that. I'm just guessing. But Saturday, I had a premonition about the Las Vegas, Sacramento, Oakland were not the Kansas City A's anymore.
The Kansas City A's.
Yes. And I would like to point out my guy, Nick Kurtz, the first baseman for the Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas. We don't play in Istanbul anymore. Who had a 2.5 hits, runs, and RBI number. Mr. Kurtz was 1 for 4 with 2 runs and 3 RBIs with a bomb. Okay, chicken dinner, right? We're cooking with gas. Then the beloved, the phenomenal.
Yeah.
They don't really win very many games anymore. The Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
They lost 2 or 3 in Houston, except Saturday, when your boy had Colin Ray for less than 4.5 strikeouts. He only had 2. But that's not the story here. That is not the story here. It is Seiya Sasuke, 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Well, that bomb he hit took care of that for 4.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 for 5, 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored with a bomb. Dude, 20 to win 160. Absolutely right. Thank you to the Demons. And then yesterday, I don't play a lot of Prize Picks golf. But it was pretty awesomeness yesterday when you start looking at the PGA Tour and Max Grazerman came through with those 6 birdies
before he choked, I should say.
Shut up, Jake. And then you go with the New York Yankees. I'm a big believer in bounce backs. When you get torched by the Oakland, Sacramento, we're going to Las Vegas, but we don't play in Austin, Texas anymore, A's.
Yeah.
You had to know that the Yankees were going to bounce back, mainly because the Sacramento A's are pathetic.
Yeah, they're terrible.
But I would like to thank my guy who should still be my goddamn right fielder.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger had a massive day. And again, Demon, 3.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, which is a lot. No, it's not, because he went 3 for 5 with 3 runs, 3 RBIs, and a bomb.
Boom.
Out of here. Life is good. Life is good. So we won those 2, and then why won't my Prize Picks app load? The Chicago Cubs hurt me because I only won 2 or 3 yesterday because my guy PCA 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts.
Damn. Okay, I'm
took
taking
home $240 over the weekend on Prize Picks, you guys.
I'm taking Zach Wheeler.
Oh,
more than 7.5 Ks.
Why do you have to do this
against the Padres?
This guy steals all of my when I win.
Guerrero Jr.
When I win, this guy steals all of my wins. He wouldn't take Zach Wheeler last week.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe fuck yourself.
Yeah, maybe shut up. Who told you to take Zach Wheeler last week? I did. What did Jake say to him? Oh, I'm staying away from that. Yeah, how'd that work out for you? 1.
So anyway, Zach Wheeler, 7.5 Ks.
Douchebag.
Against the San Diego Padres. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., more than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And Aaron Judge, more than 2.5 total bases.
Did you opt into the baseball 30% accelerator?
No.
Oh, you should have.
I didn't realize there was an accelerator.
There was an accelerator, yeah, because you're not smart.
Yeah, because you're dumb. You're an idiot.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Butthole.
Anyway.
I like Zach Wheeler a lot. I've got him at, believe it or not, I've got him at 6 strikeouts.
I like him against the Padres. I like him a lot. They chase quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going Demon.
Yeah. I went 7.5.
No, I'm going 6. I'm not
following.
Wait,
well,
if he jumped off a bridge, Timmy, would you? Nope.
Would you, Quintus?
Would I?
No.
I'm going to go Zachy Poo for 6 strikeouts.
Safari notification. Dad leaps into ocean following son. Like what?
Okay, I mean, you do you, my guy.
No, they're not listening at all, bro.
New York Yankees tonight. There's a bunch.
Yeah, that's a game to make some money on.
Yeah, that's your hits, runs, and RBIs game.
Even though Malik Beasley's not in that game, there's still a lot of money to be made.
What is wrong with you?
What?
What is wrong with you? Aaron Judge, 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs on a demon. We're taking that because he's going deep. Oh! I like. He's going deep and we're going to hell. And then Boston at Cincinnati is the other one I'm a huge fan of. I don't know if I'm bought into. I don't know that I'm bought into Cincinnati. I probably should be.
It's at Cincinnati.
Yes.
You gotta go
Chase
offense
Burns.
In that ballpark.
Chase Burns is pitching tonight.
No,
and we are going more than 6 strikeouts. So I've got Zach Wheeler more than 6, Aaron Judge 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, and Chase Burns more than 6 strikeouts. That puts us at 20 to win 104. And we hope that we do. So there you go. Pimp's going pimp, man. Get on Prize Picks. Download the app. I am telling you, baseball is the best season for Prize Picks.
Yes.
I think it's better. I think the best sports on Prize Picks are NFL and Major League Baseball. I love the dub when Caitlin Clark is playing, Katie. I love the NBA. I love college football. College football is too unpredictable. NFL, Major League Baseball, do it. Download the app. Use the promo code Monty, MONTY, to open up a new Prize Picks account. You get $50 in free plays when you do that. Essentially, you deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more. It's the best daily fantasy promo I've ever seen. So I got my favorite book on Google Play, Shogun by James C. Okay. Joseph Maynor. What a stud. Reds blew a no-hitter over the weekend. That was ridiculous. I think he's real, dude. And I'll tell you, we're off Thursday and Friday for the 4th of July holiday because mainly such as and like myself will be at Wrigley Field all weekend, including Sunday night baseball.
What's an erection?
Dude.
Get it in.
Dude. Excited about that. Cardinals and Cubs. But there's a lot of young arms in the bigs right now, and I think Chase Burns is one of them that you got to pay attention to. Get the Great and Secret Show by Clive Barker. Why are we?
Bro,
what are we doing?
Why? Because I know why.
What are we doing?
Actually, I know why.
What is it?
I guarantee you, this is James talking about what books he's going to get after we sent him the gift card from last week. Guaranteed.
See, this is why you don't allow James to win contests.
Yeah.
You guys voted for him. This is your fault.
You fucking donkey.
I tried to tell you guys. Like,
you did this. Made a pretty penny with Scooble Sunday night on Prize Picks.
I'm sure you did. That
Scooble's
was a nice line.
Legit. He might be the best pitcher in baseball right now.
Yeah.
He very well may be. We'll see. Very well may be. You know. We're having boring Cubs talk, so we got to talk about other stuff. Oh, so that's how it's going to be. Greetings from Reedley, California.
Yeah. Who is this?
Tacos and tequila with Juan.
Hey, Juan.
Hey.
Look at me.
Asshole. Juan, good to see you. I know Reedley, California well. In fact, tell everybody in Fresno I said hello. Ho! Whoa. Brown Eye Z's.
That's a pretty clear departure from Hey Shouty.
Listen, whatever this bug is.
Brown Eye.
Who the fuck are you?
And a buddy of mine is texting me that see, stop sending me stuff in disappearing text.
It's called vanishing mode.
A buddy of mine vanishing moded me. To say that it is a glitch.
Buddy was buddy tonight.
It is supposed to be a small pool of YouTube users, and it is apparently pervasive across the YouTube platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Google
me. Shouty. Whoa. Let's see. If you want to play football and bang college girls, BYU is not for
Facts.
you.
Thank you.
True
Best
word
comment
never
of the day
spoken.
right here, dude.
Facts.
I thought it was, whoa, what is going on with comments now? Shouty got some brown eyes, make our eyes blue. See, that's a song. Don't you make your brown eyes blue? Fight on Natties. What's up, my guy? I thought it was Redley. No, it's Reedley. No doubt about it.
No, it's certainly Reedley.
You know.
It's not Redley, dude.
We should just move on. Speaking of wildness, it was another good day for the Pac-12 here on the Marty program. And Jake asked me an interesting question in the pre-show meeting. He said, "Hey, Monty, is the Pac-12 back?" This is such a common narrative and such an interesting question I hear. Today, there is no doubt, was a good day for the Pac-12. As we told you would happen, Texas State was given and has accepted an invite to join the Pac-12 by the end of June because the buyout doubles for their conference buyout. So they had to essentially give notice, have it all done by today, which they do. It's a very good day for the Pac-12. Does this mean the Pac-12 is back? No, because Oregon ain't walking through that door anytime soon. SC, Washington, Utah, Arizona's, Colorado's, they're not walking through that door anytime soon. Is the Pac-12 back? It is not. But it's as good as it has been since the Pac-12 died. And this is another good day. The CBS deal was a very good day for the Pac-12. Adding Texas State is a very good day for the Pac-12 because it gets you back to being a fully fledged FBS conference. How is that in any way, shape, or form a bad thing? It's not. It's a good day. But this conference has a long way to go before it's back. Mainly, you got to become a power conference if you want to be back. Mainly, you've got to have multiple brands in your conference that compete for a national championship, which they don't. But here's the thing. It's never going to be a power conference again. At least not in the next decade, in my opinion. Who knows what rules change and how things change and where everybody ends up. But the plight of the Pac-12 now is as a G5. And I'm here to tell you that's a very good thing considering the group of memberships that you have. When you look at where football is in this world, and you have to take Gonzaga out of this conversation for obvious reasons, but you look at where football is at in this conference and in this world, you need Oregon State and Boise State to be power programs year in and year out. And Jake, I don't think there's any reason that we should expect either of those teams to struggle. And I think that makes the Pac-12 a very formidable football product.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's solid. I think that, you know, again, it'll all play out on the field. You know, I think you have good brands. I think the Pac-12 is going through its process, and, you know, Texas State checks a box, as I've said, right? It obviously gets you back to you know, prominence on some level. But I think that, you know, what Pac-12 fan wants to do with this is they want to say, oh, we're fully back and we're the conference we were before and everything's fine. And it's like, no, everything's not fine. You're still going through the process. You know, all the questions that remained before are still there. You know, I mean, what is this conference really going to look like as far as the college football playoff is concerned? What is Boise State actually going to be? I can appreciate what they're doing in that program, but you don't just have, you know, Ashton Jinty rolling through every year. So it'll be just really interesting to see how this plays out, how the conference comes together, and what it actually looks like. Yes, it's a solid football conference at the G5 level. No, I think it has no business being in a power conference conversation. And, you know, I'm happy you finally got the Texas State thing done. It's worth noting, you know, Texas State has its climb through the ranks of college football has been good. It's been really good. And they were clearly prepared for this and ready for this. And I'm glad they were able to take advantage of it. This is good for Texas State. But I just can't get down with the exaggerations and the, you know, as the running joke goes, the knee padding of the Pac-12, dude. Like, this conference is going to have to prove itself week in and week out for years on end for me to be able to say, yeah, you're back. You're playing meaningful football. You're playing football that I'm going to go out of my way to watch. Because right now, as it currently is constituted, I'm not going out of my way to watch your conference. That's just not, and maybe that's just me. Maybe there's a bunch of you who are super excited and just ecstatic for the first snap of the new Pac-12, but that's not really where I'm at with it. This is a conference that is just, yeah, cool. you're another conference in college football that's going to have no say in the college football playoff. I don't really know where else we go from there.
Yeah,
That's what's hard.
And I think it's fine. The Pac-12 is doing the right things. And I think if you're the Pac-12, you have to celebrate days like today when you add Texas State and you're a fully fledged FBS conference now. Celebrate that. Now go get St. Mary's to join as a basketball only. Make yourself more money. That'd be a very good move. Then after that, finish out your media rights deal with something that makes you a minimum of $7 million a year, I would think. And you'd really like that to be more, but make as much money as you can by completing your media rights deal. Then go continue to build on that by getting branding deals and partnership deals. But too often what we do is we try to say, oh, we're back. You don't need to be the old Pac-12. And I hope people understand that. This conference is good enough. It is a good football conference. It is a decent basketball conference. You get St. Mary's, you're probably the best G5 conference in the country as far as basketball goes. And really, it doesn't even matter if you're a G5 or not in basketball. You're one of the better small conference basketball leagues in the country. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You're not going to compete with the ACC, the Big 12, the SEC, but I don't think you're trying to do that. I really don't think you're trying to do that. I think you're just trying to be, or what you should be trying to do is be the best version of yourself, because that's all you need to do. And if you're a fan of one of the Pac-12 schools, today's a very good day again. Texas State, if you're a fan of Texas State, today's a good day. Your travel just got significantly more expensive, but today's a good day, right? It is what you've been trying to do. It has been what you've been angling at. Take the win. It doesn't need to be over the top. We're back. You're not back. You're not. When you say back, what does that mean?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because you are not the old version of the Pac-12. You are not. Because I am here to tell you, at one point, the Pac-12 was the best football conference in the country. And at one point, it was one of the most, I think, entertaining basketball leagues in the country. You're not going to be that in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, today was a good day, Cube. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's exactly right. What is the chance that in 2030 or 31 that Cal and Stanford would say I to what? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Big Daddy Magic Q3R. Monty's Summer League starts on Saturday.
Okay, again, first it's Monty. You've been here long enough to know that. Thank you.
Big Blue Horses. The PAC is a G5. Wish them well, but they aren't relevant to the college football playoff or the pending future big-time college football. I think they're relevant one team a year to the college football playoff. And I would have to think that on the regular, that will be Oregon State and Boise State.
Right.
I think those are the two brands. Now, is there a real good chance that Fresno State builds and continues to grow? Yes. Hired a fantastic new coach. Like, you're going in the right direction. Until you're that, you're not. So right now it's Boise and Oregon State, who I think Boise's already a G5 powerhouse, but I agree with you. Replacing the production you got out of Ashton Genty is going to be very difficult.
I just think it was a special season. You deserve a lot of credit for it, but that's not every year.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Joseph says they are essentially on par with the American as one of the two best G6 conferences. I think the American is in a very difficult way. And I continue to tell you, I don't know how Memphis can just stick and stay. And I don't think Dr. Ed Scott's trying to do that, the athletic director at Memphis. I think they are working very difficult to find alternative solutions, especially for men's football and basketball. You've got to find a way to generate more revenue and raise the bar of the conference that you're in. That's a very difficult proposition for them to do. Toot Pants E7U.
Okay, I don't know who you are.
Toot Pants has been here a while. Now that the PAC is going to be an actual going forward conference, can we start saying G6 instead of G5? Yeah, I guess we need to. That's exactly right. Texas State makes the Pac-12 a real conference again. It's not as good as pre-2024, but they have something, and those games will be fun to watch. Well, you let us know.
Yeah, see, I think that's the hard part, dude, is I And I do genuinely feel bad saying it, but I'm not probably going to watch a whole lot of Pac-12 football. Like I'm not. Like,
No.
it's not like at the end of the year, if Boise State's around, yeah, obviously I'll watch that game. But I'm not, bro. I'm not interested. Again, not hating. I'm just not interested in Texas State versus Utah State. I'm not interested in I guess Colorado State could put a good game together, but I guess you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not, obviously everyone's going to point to Washington State and Oregon State, but even at that point, like, I would rather watch a mid-level SEC game over that, or a mid-level, not the top dogs in the Big Ten, but like a mid-level Big Ten game, like certainly a Big 12 game. I'm not really a big ACC guy overall.
What's your draw in that conference? Well, it's probably Boise State versus somebody.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's
certainly why CBS got on it. Right. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Is Boise State versus somebody.
Yeah. And in basketball, it's Gonzaga. I think they have to add St. Mary's. And I know I've been saying that, beating that drum forever, but Eric Wasikowski, 21. What happened to MAGA Boy?
Yeah.
So who's the 10th school? To be determined. It'll be interesting to see how all this plays out. What's the conference roster look like when they're all said and done? Because they definitely have a chance to be the best G6 conference. They have that opportunity. Add St. Mary's. You add St. Mary's, and now you're cooking with gas. I would love to see them bring in Sac State. I think Sacramento State's that university that I think it makes all the sense in the world. They have the money, they have the facilities, they have the leadership, they have the fan base, they have the TV numbers, the metropolitan market. Like, I think it makes all the sense in the world. David E. Persons. The Pac-12 has now officially survived. That's all. It is not a P4 and is barely a P5 at the moment. Prove it, now believe it. And I think a lot of people are saying that.
Factually, they're not barely anything. I mean, you're not barely a P5. Like, that doesn't exist. Like,
yeah,
that's not how. That's just not. Yeah.
Yeah. Who is the Pac-12 who is paying for the Pac-12 propaganda against the Mountain West Conference? The amount of slandering the Mountain West is over. Oh, it is wild. The allegations that are out there, and I think we talked about this several weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that there are people out there who believe that the Pac-12 is paying influencers, whoever you want to point to say horrible things about the Mountain West. And I think it's worked if that's truly what's happened, if that's at all the case. And I have a hard time believing the Pac-12 is investing in, hey, Jimmy, the podcast host, say bad things about the Mountain West and providing talking points. I have a hard time believing that. But it's working because you hear, oh, well, the Mountain West has no TV deal and we took all their partners. I'll continue to tell you, I'd be very surprised if the Mountain West and CBS aren't in business together going forward. I mean, I've told you that repeatedly. I think that the Mountain West is going to go on with business as usual, and they need to find a way to make more money. And are they going to take a pay cut? No. But are they going to get the bump that they probably should have gotten? Certainly not. And that is the Pac-12's doing. I think that the Mountain West very likely winds up with CBS in a cast of characters. And I think ESPN direct-to-consumer is going to be part of that.
Right.
I would think. So I think it's crazy to me how many Pac-12 fans are like, oh, we murdered. You can go out there and we murdered the Mountain West. Did you? And are you proud of that? Are you proud of that? Like, what do you hear the things that?
Yeah, if you are proud of that, you shouldn't be.
No. The PAC is a G5. Wish them well, but they aren't relevant to the CFP or the pending future big time college football. I read that one. Yeah, I think that's an interesting one. What are the chances Cal and Stanford would join the Pac-12 after the media rights deal is over? Why, James? What is your
Stay hard.
for Cal and Stanford going back to G5 status? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? What is the upside of that?
Yeah, is your assertion that them going back to the Pac-12 somehow would make the Pac-12 a power conference again? Is that what you're getting at? Or like,
why would do you understand the pay cut that they are looking at? Like, and I just think sometimes I don't understand why certain people, and in this case, James, you get this gnawing of this bone and you're not going to let it go. What sense in what economic universe would you recommend that Cal and Stanford take a $40 million pay cut per year? Per year, a $40 million pay cut to go and be in the Pac-12. In what universe does that make any common sense whatsoever? So I'm not even going to entertain what are the chances. I'm not even going to entertain that. Like, their travel costs have to be massive. Do you really think their travel costs are $40 million a year? And what is the upside? Like, do you think you're losing money on travel? Let's take a $40 million pay cut, and that way we'll be back to it. It doesn't math, man. It does not math. John Cena will be in charge of Summer League. Okay. Please. Hello, John Cena.
And his name is John Cena.
Okay. Okay. Big Daddy Magic. Monty, I have a second favorite player now. His name is AJ. He's going to be the #1 pick in the draft next year.
You are a bandwagon fan, dude. Don't
you can,
all the hate you've put on BYU and now you want to be an AJ fan? No.
The amazing amount of vile comments you have made about BYU. And now you want to jock ride AJ DeBansa.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
Come on.
No. How about no? Nope. Daniel Dixon, 6858. Group just needs to have its own playoff. Yes, it does. I agree. Joseph Kenneth Maynor. Kenny. It was either be a Pac-12 or an American school in the playoff every year. It will either be. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. Big 2, mid 2, G6, pretty much. Memphis wants in the Big 12 or the ACC. They would be a good fit for either, in my opinion. Totally agree, Mike. I think that's exactly right. I think they'd be a great fit. No question about it. I don't even know how to say this name. 34 random letters for $5.
Who the fuck are you?
This ought to be good. What percentage of SA Austin car dealer ad buy NIL will go to Texas State game versus any SEC Big 12 game? That's the difference. P4G6. Listen, 34 random letters all in order. Can you stop slandering? Can you stop slandering Texas State, please?
Dude.
They're the 7th biggest football program in Texas, according to Texas State.
And their fans fill up other people's buildings.
That's right. They travel. Texas State fans. If you're new to the show today, Texas State jerk-off fans came in here the other day and they're like, we're the 7th biggest program in Texas. Our fans travel so much that they sell out the opponent's stadium. But we only average 21,000 a home game. Their fans travel so prolifically that the Pac-12 is... They also said that the Pac-12 is going to make so much money on concessions and T-shirt sales. I mean,
cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Texas State and the hot dogs, the
glizzies,
the glizzies, you know, with the fry sauce on them, and they're the T-shirts, the
cock-a-doodle-doo.
you know. You're exactly right. 34. Can you? Never mind. Eric Wasikowski.
21.
Stick to your in-state teams, people. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Mike Smith. Mavericks need to get some young players to be key core to their future. Did you guys see that Jaren Jackson got extended? And Dorian Finney-Smith, after the alleged Laker slander, signed with the Houston Rockets today. Think anybody wants to play for the Houston Rockets? Interesting. I think everybody does. Big Daddy Magic, I love BYU.
No, you
don't.
Stop. Dude,
Stop. My AJ.
dude.
Don't play intramurals, brother.
You love any basketball team that has good players on it, and they become your favorite
Victor's
player.
the way.
Which, and again, don't damage the vocal cords next time Victor's in town. And I mean,
This is your beloved
don't let
Daddy Magic.
Don't let Victor Wembanyama intubate you, okay?
Is it possible that they could ride the D?
I watch ER. I know what that means. Pierre, Cal and Stanford are only receiving $11 million a year, right? But
Oh my God, this is not complicated.
I'm not
dude.
doing it.
Bro.
I'm not doing it. I'm not. Do I have to really explain to you?
Please.
Come on. God.
I have to really explain. Okay. And then Stadium Guy James, who clearly needs to be. Good point, Pierre. No. Like, this is the thing. You guys throw out these wild scenarios and you don't understand the economics of being in a P4 conference. You don't understand the economics of how revenue is generated and distributed in P4 conferences and what that access means. Like, so, and you just have to go with me here. You think that they're in the ACC, and don't forget, according to Oak State James, they pay billions of dollars in travel costs. It's the big, beautiful travel bill. Don't forget. Probably too much. And then number two, then they have to revenue share at $20.5 million, right? And then they have to NIL. You really think they're only generating $11 million by being in the ACC?
Vexes me.
Is that what you think?
Well, money.
You know, I mean, I know I don't know anything, but come on, man. Come on. You look at the way that money is being exchanged right now today. Do you guys understand that, like, all the collective and NIL stuff changes tomorrow on July 1st? Like, you're killing me. Jeff Woodworth, XR2KI. Okay. BYU at KU and B-ball, two of the top three picks going head-to-head. Well, AJ Debanza is now Big Daddy Magic's favorite player. Victor's dead now, apparently. He doesn't exist anymore.
Well, no,
he's probably
just,
back at the Buddhist
he's at the Buddhist compound.
He's, doing Taekwondo,
right.
kicking
Big
people in the sack.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. More concerned about Malik Beasley, this guy.
Dude. Bro.
Do we have any videos of that or anything?
Because I didn't want to get in trouble.
Did you guys hear the Malik Beasley story? Before we rip Jim Harbaugh as the scumbag that he is.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Should we rip Jim Harbaugh first?
Do Jim Harbaugh first. Yeah, we'll get to Malik Beasley.
I'm not
Stay hard.
doing Jim Harbaugh. Did you guys hear about this Jim Harbaugh thing? And this Ward Manual thing?
And put the headline on the screen. I want everyone to just see this headline that was put out over the weekend for good old Jimmy boy here. Oh, what?
Now,
what?
Listen.
What?
Attorneys who filed the suit claim Harbaugh and others knew that Matt Weiss was seen viewing private information on a computer in December 2022. However, he was still able to work at Michigan as a co-offensive coordinator during the playoff game about a week later, according to the AP.
That's fucking interesting, man.
According to the lawsuit, a staff member saw Weiss viewing private information in Schembechler Hall just over a week before Michigan took on TCU, that's Texas Catastrophic University.
Where Jake Retzlaff's going to play quarterback.
That's
allegedly.
right, and Baylor. In the college football playoff, he was fired January 2023 amid an investigation into his computer use. So let me get this right. Jim Harbaugh, who was just buying cheeseburgers for hungry kids.
Keep it real.
Bro.
So we know what scumbags they are at the University of Michigan. We know They're scumbags. You're saying, and I find this hard not to believe, Jim Harbaugh.
wait. Sorry, not to interrupt. Did you just say I find this hard not to believe?
I do find it hard not to believe this. That Jim Harbaugh and Ward Manuel, Ward Manuel, the scumbag, terrible, awful chairman of the college football playoff, committee. Ward Manuel, who, in my opinion, oversaw the worst ever college football playoff committee selection. Ward Manuel, who's overseen dysfunction in basketball that included violence by the coach, who oversaw one of the largest cheating scandals, multiple level 1 violations in the football program by multiple coaches. He had an assistant coach in an LLC agreement with one of his football players, massive NCAA violation. That same scumbag was aware, according to this suit, that Matt Weiss was committing computer crimes against young people in this country by illegally accessing databases and then hacking social media to gain access to nude photos while at Michigan. And they didn't fire him immediately or put him on leave? Jim Harbaugh and Ward Manuel allegedly knew and did nothing. I find that hard not to believe that.
Go around and find out.
Because remember, Jim Harbaugh is the guy who said, I was just buying cheeseburgers for hungry kids.
Erroneous.
And then when it was pointed out, well, Jimmy, were you in the same restaurant? No. I don't know.
I don't know if
it was a happenstance, and it was cheeseburgers for hungry kids
in the middle of the winter.
But what about that recruit? No, in the middle of the COVID dead period. What about that recruit and his dad that were in that restaurant? Well, I didn't.
The coronavirus.
I was just passing through to pick up the cheeseburgers for the hungry kids.
What?
But Jim, here's the problem. First of all, we're going to need you to come in and talk to us. No, sorry, I'm busy. Okay, we're going to need you to, when's a good day for you? Never.
Suckmyass.com.
There are never, ever any good days. Like evaded.
I'm too busy buying burgers. I can't meet with you
I
guys.
gotta feed the hungry kids.
Yeah.
I got stuff to do. I don't have time. Oh, thanks for showing up. Now he finally shows up. Hey, coach, I know you said you were just there and you weren't even aware they were there. But the funny thing is the kid was texting with you, allegedly.
Me?
Well, I don't remember that. That didn't happen. Well, here are the text logs. Oh, well, but see, again, he was a hungry kid. He was emaciated. He was laying in a gutter. And this is the time where we, at Michigan, we had these private investigative firms following protesters, trying to take away their First Amendment rights and shit. I was more concerned with, wait, I got to rethink that.
Trying to take away their First Amendment rights.
While we were trying to screw these people out of their First Amendment rights, I was just over here buying cheeseburgers for hungry kids. Can you state the question again, please?
For the record.
Well, Jim, we have text messages with the coaches and the kids and his dad, and they remember you ordering a cheeseburger because you're a fucking lunatic. They remember you ordering a cheeseburger for breakfast, Jimbo. Well, listen, now.
This is a tasty burger.
I'm Captain America. I'm going to San Diego. Oh, wait, they screwed San Diego. I'm going to LA to work for the scumbag owner, so this should still be in San Diego. You guys figure all this other stuff out. All right. Hey, coach, anything on Matt Weiss? Matt, that sounds familiar. I don't know him. Well, he worked for you and your brother, and now there's a new lawsuit that says you knew that he was hacking people and stealing their news and doing who knows what with them, coach. Oh, I would never. Ever. I had no idea. So you didn't know that he was doing that while at Schembechler Hall?
No.
No, I had no idea. Okay, well, then you're fucking fired because you don't have control of your staff in your football department.
Well,
wait,
that's the
no,
issue,
hang on. Now, I didn't say I didn't know. That's not what
no.
But coach, then there's this Connor Stallions thing. He was flying people in stadiums and cell phones in a cloud account and a Venmo that was publicly available in a ticket account that was Oh, I didn't know. Okay, well, then you're fucking fired because you weren't in control of your football. I didn't say Okay, wait, let me rephrase. Okay, wait, before you rephrase, you scumbag loser.
No redos.
Did you know that Connor Stallions was selling vacuums off his front porch? No. I mean, wait. Do you see how ridiculous all of this is? I didn't know. I had no idea. I didn't know. Scumbag. Who? Me?
Bruh.
Yeah, you're a scumbag. Well, I didn't know that. Okay, so you're fired because you're a scumbag and you didn't even know it. What about those level 1 recruiting violations? Well, but it's always somebody else's fault. It's Ryan Day's brother who's a private investigator. It couldn't be that Matt Weiss was actually at Schembechler Hall, allegedly, because Jimmy was just, he couldn't have been there because he was out buying cheeseburgers for hungry kids. They were starving. They looked like E.T. in the bike. I mean, what do you want from me? It could be that.
Bro, E.T.
Is it possible? Is it possible?
I don't live in a what if scenario.
But go with me on this.
Just ride with me, bro.
Ride with me like E.T. on the bike was being ridden.
Bro.
Let's ride.
And kind of like your mom was being ridden. Anyway, the point is
it possible that they could ride the D?
Is it possible that Matt Weiss's his devices were active at Schembechler Hall?
Devices.
And now I know all the Michigan fans lost their ever-loving mind when I said the FBI's on your campus. Well, Monty, we're just too good. We're too good. We're the best. We're Michigan. Flying wings and shit. Look at the helmet, the flying wings, the yellow in the wings and shit. They're jealous that they don't have wings. They got those stupid Buckeye stickers. We got wings. Wings. We got wings.
Hey, look here, man.
And I ain't talking about Wingstop. I'm talking about wings, buddy. So they're all jealous. What are they jealous of? So when we said the FBI's on campus and you said they're after our wings, and I said if the FBI's on campus, some shit be happening over there, and you said wings, they're jealous. Maybe it's not that they were jealous of your wings. Maybe, here's the crazy part. Wait, hang on. Here's a good.
Get ready.
Matt Weiss was committing federal felonies, and he was abusing young people across the country in a database he broke into and allegedly took their nudes off social media. I know. It's hard It's hard not to believe that. Dude. But Jim Harbaugh didn't know. Good, he's fired. But he did know. Good, he's fired. Oh, wait, is that why he ran? Is that why he ran to work for more scumbags in the Spanos family in Los Angeles? They rent a stadium from the Rams. You remember those guys. Is that why?
Tonight.
Is that why?
Dude.
He ran? So you knew or you didn't know. And now, scumbag Ward Manuel. Oh, Monty, he's the athletic director of the year. I mean, holy cow, what an athletic director who let his offensive coordinator use computers at Schembechler Hall.
Jackass.
I mean, did you see those nudes? Ward Manuel, the worst selection committee ever. Oh my God, he's a mate coach. I mean, Juwan Howard punched people in the fucking face. Ward Manuel, yes.
But he's not wrestlers at Penn State.
No, he's not cock on thigh. He's not that bad. I mean, but Ward Manuel, athletic director of the year, give the guy awards. Matt Weiss, Juwan Howard. He only hires he only hires the best people. Connor Stallions,
the best people.
I mean, he promoted a coach who was there through all that stuff. But that coach didn't know. Oh, that's right. He should be fired then, Ward.
Because it's illegal.
I mean, I can keep going. It's probably obnoxious at this point. Wings! They're jealous! Ryan Day's brother is a hell of a private investigator.
Quick pause. Comment section. I just need what what do we have in the comment section? Can I have a sip of your drink?
Your tasty
quench
beverage.
My thirst.
To quench my palate.
Dude. Bro.
I'm just throwing it out there, man. Here's Eric Wasikowski, otherwise known as MAGA Boy. More concerned about Malik Beasley. Okay. Fake reality 96. Breaking news. Saw, dude.
Saw it. Saw it.
No, I'm not reading that one. Brown Eye, Michigan AD, what they coach doing. He doesn't know. He had no idea.
Q Janus.
Word manual was trash. Please go. Let's use the right
why
con.
are we using past tense?
Yeah, let's use the right tense.
Yeah.
And
present
stuff.
tense.
That's for me and stuff. What did Toot say? The ACC grant of rights runs through 35-36. A couple of years before that, Stanford and Cal will start receiving a full share of don't explain money to James because he doesn't want to know. Doesn't want to know. Fight on Natties. The committee did a good job last year. They kept Bama's ass out of the playoff. No 3 losses allowed. Yeah, and they gave the pedophiles what should have been a free run to a national championship.
Couldn't even get that.
Oh, that's right. Word manual. Good job setting up Ohio State to win the single greatest national championship anybody's ever seen in football. But it's fine. It's fine. But Monty, Harbaugh handing out Mick phones, the brand new recruiting phone you can disguise in a burger wrapper.
Bro, Mick phones.
Cheeseburgers and milk. I mean, listen, these kids.
Monty.
I'm Captain America. I'm over here in Ann Arbor. And, like Biden's bringing truckloads of hungry kids up here. What am I
Doesn't get any more
to do?
red, white, and blue than that.
I'm just over here trying to save kids. And you guys want to talk to me about COVID dark periods? COVID, bud. If this kid's hungry, Captain America is going to feed him a cheeseburger. I'm probably going to put it on my heel and stomp it down his throat with the side of his teeth. But,
I just thought that you would appreciate me treating you like an adult.
I don't understand why you guys are picking on little old Captain America. He was just feeding hungry kids. He's a humanitarian.
Deserves an award.
I mean, give the guy the Nobel Peace Prize that Downing never has a chance to win. Too much. If anyone needs a cheeseburger, it's Victor Wambenyama. Maybe a dozen cheeseburgers. Okay. Tuck Montana.
Bro.
Says, LOL, Monty. Ain't no reset.
No.
Monty Rant.
Yes.
Mike Smith, refurbishing vacuums and cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Google me.
Steely, what's up, Steely? Good to see you. Harbaugh, biggest joker of all time.
It's embarrassing, bro.
Listen, Jimmy.
Monty.
As president of the University of Michigan, I'll be honest, I've been a little distracted repressing people's First Amendment rights and trying to have them like intimidated and shit. I wasn't paying attention to what your staff was doing. And from what I understand, they were hacking in and stealing nudes. By the way, just quick question. As the president of Michigan, I need to see those nudes so that I can secure them.
Yeah, boy.
Why don't you go ahead and send them over? You got them on your phone there, don't you, Coach? Okay.
Yeah,
All kidding aside. Coach, Jimmy, we've got this FBI thing going on, and I thought they were here because I was repressing people's First Amendment rights. Imagine
it's like an act of Congress.
I mean, imagine my relief when I found out they weren't investigating old Santa Ono in Jerusalem and shit.
Yeah, that little Palestine get together was a real problem for me.
Tell you what, I was really worried about that whole thing. But anyway, from what I understand, they're here because one of your guys is like stealing nudes and cracking computer databases.
Perhaps play a little game called Just a Tip.
Do you know anything about that? And real quick, I got to ask you about, I was just driving through like the projects the other day, and I happened to notice that Connor Stallions had a porch full of vacuums. And I don't understand what that's about. Can you?
Yeah,
You expensed a bunch of cheeseburgers, Jimmy. What was that about? Oh, you're guilty of all of that? Okay, how about here's a contract that makes you the highest paid coach in the history of sports.
A lot.
And he said no.
No.
Well, listen, I'm Captain America. I appreciate the money, but no.
I need to go home.
Yeah. The NC. Okay, how about that? I'll take all of the money as long as you guarantee it and you protect me from anything the NCAA says. Is when they make these lies up about Matt
these
Weiss,
heinous allegations,
and they make these heinous allegations about me and cheeseburgers that you don't believe them. You pay me not to believe you. For you pay
What
me,
constitutes a promise?
you pay me, and then you look stupid for not believing the truth. Well, they're heinous allegation. Anyway, just give me the fucking money and say no to the NCAA, and we got no problems. Okay?
Empty. The opposite of full.
Just add that addendum, right? In fact,
right
you know
at
what?
the bottom in the fine print.
Here, I've got it right in my pocket. And then they'll add the addendum, and he still said no.
No.
I'm going to work. Hey, Santa Claus, it's old Captain America here. I know you're going to find this hard to believe. I found some bigger shit bags than everybody who runs Michigan. I'm over here in Los Angeles.
Biggest kick in the balls you'll ever get.
You know, have you ever heard of the Spanos family? Did you hear what they did? Not even a reach around for the San Diegans that supported them for all those decades. They're up here.
You are what you are.
You know, the funny thing is they left San Diego to rent a place. They've got this little place that they're renting.
Pack everything up. We're out of here.
From the LA Rams. And so they're a second-class organization, and they wanted me. They said I'm a perfect fit for how they operate. I tend to agree with that. I'm gonna head out.
I'm a head out.
But Jim, what about those allegations? And what's it going to do to Michigan football when you're not here? Yeah, I don't really care because I'm Captain America. I won my ring already. Okay. Thanks for nothing.
Would I have stayed if I knew that?
Real quick before we get off the phone, can you tell me again how much money you were going to pay me and guarantee it and then ignore the NCAA Committee on Infractions?
Those are numbers of death.
Nice job, guys. Really, nice job. I mean, just incredible.
Chargers equal world class. We only hire the best people. Chargers are just the West Coast Jets, pretty much.
Yep.
Pretty much. At Great Conspiracy Hour from That Follows Conspiracy Nuts. Well, okay. MAGA Boy says Great Conspiracy Hour. So what have I said that's not true? Because I know it's crazy. A lot of, again, I mean, they added Jim Harbaugh, and I know the world's greatest athletic director, right, have been added to this lawsuit. And you guys, I know you say that it's conspiracy. Okay, so here's my question. If it's a conspiracy and none of it's true, why isn't Michigan suing on 3? Attorneys in the suit claim Harbaugh and others knew Weiss was seen viewing private information on a computer in December of 2022. However, he was still able to work at Michigan's co-offensive coordinator during the playoff game about a week later. Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel and former head coach Jim Harbaugh have been added to a hacking lawsuit in Detroit federal court, including former university president Santa Ono. So if it's a conspiracy, what part of that's not true? Because if it's not true, I want to get the record right.
Yeah. I mean, which portion's untrue? It's a fair question.
I think it's awfully difficult anymore to claim that nobody at Michigan knew and they were just shocked the FBI was on campus and Connor Stallions was a lone wolf. So how many lone wolves were there in the football program?
Yeah, I mean, how far are you going to go in terms of lying to yourself to make yourself feel good about this?
Jimmy the Cheeseburger lone wolf. Connor, the sign-stealing lone wolf. Matt Weiss, I don't even know what you describe him, alleged computer criminal and trafficker of sexual images, allegedly. Lone wolf. Ward Manuel. Well, everybody hates Ward, so, I mean.
Come on.
AD of the year. But, these are conspiracy theories. They're not this stuff isn't from filings in a lawsuit in court, is it? No. What?
Monty just made this up,
What? Matt Weiss was getting his 21 reps in. Stop. And claiming that he was working out. Yeah, the lone wolf pack. Yeah. All those lone wolves running as a pack. Funny how that works
seriously.
out. Funny how that works.
Seriously.
So let me get this right. Jim Harbaugh, he's gone on to great things in Charger country. Okay. Matt Weiss, loser. Connor Stallions. Look at the work that he's done. Oh, he isn't working. Who's left? Santa Ono? That guy can't even get a job at the North Pole. Are you kidding me? He got a flat hell no at Florida. These are just great men. These are just great men. What are you talking about? It's always this is what I love. Anybody that's a criminal or committed a crime it's a personal attack. No, it's not personal to anybody but those students and young people whose nudes were taken from them and their accounts were hacked. I think it's personal to those people. To the legacies you destroyed by cheating your way to a national championship. Yeah, I think it'd be personal to those people.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that. Jeff Woodworth, you go to Michigan so the lone wolf pack can grow. That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Fall guy, yeah. With all the allegations against Michigan, watch them get a slap on the wrist, which would be amazing. They're turning the freaking love wolves. No, they're not. Alex Jones, dude, he has serious mental issues. Anybody who believes something they heard on Alex Jones's show.
Infowars.com.
Are we really? 34 random letters. I heard about Art Briles from Alex Jones. You watch Alex Jones. Okay.
I don't understand it.
That's amazing to me. Because I don't understand that either. I don't understand that. All right. Speaking of football, real quick. You guys, can you send some love Jake's way? Let me sing him. Can you send some love to Jake? He wound up with a Flowbee this weekend. His girlfriend was out of town. That Flowbee had a cord. Jake had a power outlet. What would you have done? And then you wind up wearing that shirt today. Salmon.
What's wrong with the shirt?
Salmon.
I don't have a problem with the shirt.
It's guava.
Yeah.
And then you find out that the Pittsburgh Steelers just keep doing Monty proud. Because remember, it was at first that the Pittsburgh Steelers were never going to sign Aaron Rodgers and he was going to crap himself in a hole all season.
Dangerous misinformation.
And as I told you, it was a fait accompli. They were signing Aaron Rodgers, and Jake was like, no.
We did what we did.
Jake was like, no. Traded for DK Metcalf. Doesn't matter. Well, now today they traded for Jalen Ramsey. So, I'm over here. I'm over here.
When Aaron Rodgers chokes on a D in the AFC Championship game.
Well, I'll be sad because he's the owner of the Bears, and I want the Bears to do well.
As an Aaron Rodgers fan, will you be heartbroken or?
No, I'll actually be very happy if Aaron never wins another game and only throws interceptions, not completions. In fact, that would make me very happy. But you start looking at the moves that the Pittsburgh Steelers are making, and you find out that Jalen Ramsey's now a Pittsburgh Steeler. And you find out that they shipped out Minkah Fitzpatrick as part of that deal. And in fact, the deal actually is Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith in a 7th rounder for Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 5th rounder. And you start to understand the Pittsburgh Steelers are winning. And when their defense includes, Joey Porter Jr., Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Patrick Queen, Alex Highsmith, Derek Harmon, Cameron Hayward, and for the moment, TJ Watt, because sources in recent weeks told Adam Schefter multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers standout TJ Watt, who skipped the team's most recent minicamp. And while the Steelers have shown zero interest or appetite to trade TJ Watt, that'd be interesting.
Bro, the Denver Nuggets are trading Michael Porter Jr. and a 2032 first rounder for Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's a great trade.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr., 1, his brother's a gambling suspendee, and 2, his back is bad.
Yeah, and he's also a champion.
Yeah, but Nikola Jokic is the champion there.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Porter Jr. has always been an odd fit there. We'll talk NBA in a second. Wait, back to your misery and sorrow. Does it upset you that the Steelers appear to be all in to win a championship?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't upset me that they're all in to win a championship. I'm going to laugh at Aaron Rodgers when he chokes again because that's going to happen. It is going to happen.
Yeah.
Mark my words.
And then again, every time we talk about Aaron Rodgers, it gives me an opportunity to hear from people like this who say, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers, he sucks. He proved last year he can't do anything." Jake, what am I going to say to this particular person?
You're going to tell him he's wrong, and the stats say he's wrong, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Aaron Rodgers sucks so bad, and he proved last year that he just can't do it anymore. Right? And that's what we're going with. The problem is Aaron Rodgers was the 8th leading passer in the NFL by yards last year. The problem is that Aaron Rodgers threw 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions last year. And if we start looking at touchdown numbers, that puts Aaron Rodgers ahead of Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, just some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And it puts him in company with Bo Nix and Sam Darnold, 2 of the hottest young quarterbacks. Well, Bo Nix was one of the hottest quarterbacks, and Sam Darnold, who got paid. Somebody explained to me, and then when we start looking at guys who threw touchdowns, I don't think it's even arguable that Joe Burrow probably had the best year of any quarterback last year with 43-9 on top of 4,900 yards. But he has less interceptions than Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff, right? Lamar Jackson, 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Okay. So I could make an argument he is the 4th or 5th best quarterback in the NFL last year. But you keep riding with Rodgers proved last year that he's not leading anyone anywhere.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that's an uneducated take, dude. You got to be better than that.
You keep riding with that because Aaron Rodgers played 17 games and threw the ball 584 times. So what about Aaron Rodgers' performance last year is the problem. The guy is still a top, arguably 5 quarterback in the NFL. Is he going to be anybody's favorite leader in a locker room? No. Is he going to put the ball in time and space to the guys that need to have it? Yeah, he is. And when they're Jonnu Smith and DK Metcalf, and you start looking at the depth chart in Pittsburgh, and now you begin to understand they are building what is going to be a top 5 defense, and their offense. When you look at their running back, Jaylen Warren is probably the biggest question mark because DK Metcalf, Robert Woods, and Calvin Austin, the third, are their top 3. Roman Wilson, Scotty Miller, and Ben Skoranek are their next 3. And then you look at the tight end room. Who's got a better tight end room than Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, man. I mean, they're going to be very good. And I think that this is what we do every year. oh man, this team's going to be really good. They're spending a lot of money.
Oh, on
They've
paper,
got
they're
the names. On
absolutely
paper, they're incredible. And I agree with you 100%. And again, and I think you know this, but I've never had an issue with the Steelers spending money to win. I actually think when the Steelers are good, the NFL is better. Like the Steelers are one of those teams that the NFL needs to be a playoff team. Like that's one of those brands. We're not talking about, again, with all due respect, we're not talking about the Jags or the Texans. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And the question you have to, if you want to criticize Aaron Rodgers, there's one very sore thumb you can criticize him on. The guy doesn't win in the playoffs. So it's great that the Steelers will be elite in the regular season. Your question should be, is Aaron Rodgers the problem or was the Packers the problem? Well, the Packers defense a lot of those years.
Well, listen.
But Aaron made some throws that killed them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to pro Aaron Rodgers guy is going to say, well, he's got a Super Bowl. Anti Aaron Rodgers guy is going to say, well, yeah, it's one Super Bowl in 20 seasons. That's not great. You know, I mean,
and that Super Bowl was 12 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while. And what bothers me is, you know, honestly, in the bigger picture, the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't had a quarterback in how long? I mean, you are even with Aaron Rodgers, you're band-aiding this thing. What you need to do is you need to draft a quarterback or trade for a quarterback in his mid-20s and develop him or do something. You know, like you have to have you gotta have a solution there. That's the bigger problem because again, what's on the line for the organization? This is what I always look at. Hey, great, you love Aaron, you hate Aaron. We can have that discussion all day long, and we will as the season goes on. We will.
Yep.
But for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if this doesn't go for you, think about all the salary that you're going to cut out of this roster. You're going to cut. I mean, hell, probably. I mean, let's be nice and say $100 million in salary if this doesn't work out, and then at that point, you're going to have to figure out who your quarterback's going to be. Now, if it does work out, now we can talk about spending extra money and we're good with the cost and it was all worth it and everything's amazing. Yep. And Jalen Ramsey's got a Super Bowl and TJ Watt's got a Super Bowl. Like, cool, dude, I get it. But my main question for Aaron Rodgers is going to be, let's presume he stays healthy, gets to the AFC Championship game. What happens if this squad is not entirely healthy? Let's say that you don't have DK. Let's say DK gets hurt. Right?
Huge problem.
Like what happens if TJ Watt's had some injuries. What happens if he gets it? Like, so I understand the injury bug thing is like, hey, it could affect every team, but I think the volatility of this team is the defining measurement of this season. The volatility of this team on the injury report will decide its fate. Simple as that. Some teams like the 49ers, the Chiefs. Look at the Chiefs, the Detroit Lions. You're able to overcome the injury bug.
Yep.
This team will not be able to overcome the injury bug.
Yeah, I agree. And if you can't get this TJ Watt contract figured out, dude, you're in real trouble. I am very curious to see how all that plays out. But Aaron, if you want to criticize Aaron Rodgers, the guy does not win in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't won more than 2 playoff games in about, I think it's 6 years now. So it's starting to weigh. It is starting to weigh. Okay, do we light the world on fire here, Jake? Does LeBron James want to be traded from the LA Lakers?
I don't think he wants to be traded. I don't think he necessarily wants to be traded, wants to leave the squad. I think what LeBron James wants most on and off the floor is to be relevant. That's what LeBron wants. And I think that it's a never-ending quest for the guy. I think time and time again, he has shown us that all he cares about is being in the headlines and being a narrative and being a talking point, whether it's doing a podcast with the engagement farming king, JJ Redick, or now doing it with Steve Nash, there's just never ending examples of LeBron wanting to be relevant. So this tweet out of Shams where, he's talking about that LeBron is monitoring the offseason moves of the Lakers after opting into his $50 million plus option tells me everything I need to know. Hey, I'm going to make mine, right? Like I'm going to make my 50 plus million this year. But hey, Rob Pelinka, hey, if you don't get enough done and we're not championship good, then I'm going to leave. To me, number one, I don't think that that's what LeBron has said. I think that LeBron is always after championships because he likes to be relevant. So I think that's what this is. I don't think LeBron has done a trade demand or behind the scenes is leaning on Pelinka. But I think what he is saying is, hey, I don't want to end my career being irrelevant and struggling to make a play-in. I would like to end my career playing some big games, getting into some good matchups, playing with good players. And that's why losing Dorian Finney-Smith to the Rockets is an absolute shame. You can't have that.
LeBron want to leave the Lakers?
No, I don't think he does.
No, he doesn't. I agree with you 100%. I think he wants the Lakers to win. And I don't know that they're going to be in position to win. And if you start looking at the way that this NBA, I think in the next 24 hours, there is going to be crazy trade activity. And I said this last week and people laughed at me. I think this is going to be one of the busiest pre-free agent trade markets we've ever seen.
I think that the quietness to start the free agent period is hilarious for any NBA fan. The idea that it's been open for, what time is it? 5 o'clock. Was it been open a couple hours? I mean, the idea that the free agent period's been open a couple hours and we don't have big time signings, big time moves.
Jake, Bruce Brown Jr. is back in Denver.
Like the idea that, because you know what this is, right? This is, hey, we don't want to be seen. It's the old Dark Knight line, right? We don't want to be seen to be doing business with whatever it is you're accused of. We don't want to be accused of cheating. We don't want to be accused of tampering, right? The NBA slapped the Knicks on the wrist for the Brunson deal last year or 2 years ago, I guess that would have been now. Well, we don't want to be seen to be cheating, so we're not going to announce any deals until tonight. And by the way, should be noted, again, tinfoil hat guy here. I get it. ESPN's coverage of free agency doesn't start till 7 Eastern. It just started 18 minutes ago. What does that tell you? Hey, we need to make sure that, when the window opened 1 minute in, that we don't announce our deal because we don't want to be seen to be cheating. We got this deal done inside the window. So I just think it's, I agree. A lot of stuff's going to happen tonight. I think if you're an NBA fan, you're going to go to sleep tonight and wake up with a bunch of notifications in the morning about stuff that went down tonight. That's what I think. That's how I think this is going to go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays. There are small deals coming in. Jake LaRavia agreed to a deal that he's agreed to a 2-year, $12 million deal with the LA Lakers. LaRavia had a strong finish with the Kings. But it's interesting that Chris Haynes says LaRavia has agreed to sign with the LA Lakers. And Shams says that's done, so we'll keep an eye on that. That's a nice little pickup. You look at Trey Jones returning to the Bulls, D'Angelo Russell, and what everybody knew 2 weeks ago going to the Mavericks on a 2-year, $13 million deal, how the mighty have fallen because he's made a ton of money. I mean, the Cam Johnson deal is not surprising. Denver was always trying to get out of, I think, Michael Porter Jr.'s contract because of his back and his injury history. But, I mean, does Cam Johnson make the Denver Nuggets a championship caliber team? Probably not. Not on his own, certainly.
Yeah, but what bothers me about that deal is everyone keeps complaining, well, why is the West so much better than the East? Well, why is the West so deep? Because you keep bailing their ass out.
Yeah.
You keep taking on aging, injury-prone player and getting rid of one of the best shooters in the league, right? Like Cam Johnson's not Steph Curry good at shooting. We all know this, but the guy can knock it down. And you just put him on a team that has championship culture. You think he's not going to get better with Denver?
I think he will. I think he will get significantly more seasoning. And listen, Cam Johnson's a hired shooter at this point.
Yeah.
That's what he is. It is what it is. But it's a good move. This is, I think, if you look at any of the deals that happened today, is there a real significant trade that's happened? I don't think so.
No.
I don't. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith to the Rockets is not surprising at all. 4 years, $53 million, very reasonable number. I think that is very reasonable. I think Paul Reed on a 2-year deal to return to the Pistons, insignificant, means almost nothing. I do think that Jaren Jackson getting a $240 million extension.
Yeah.
That's a big deal for Memphis. I mean, 5 years, 240 is not a small amount of money. But other than that, I don't think that there was a huge deal. I don't know what the Utah Jazz are doing. I really do not know. You essentially said to Jordan Clarkson, here's free money. And a year later, you said, get the fuck out. Because you bought him out today.
What was the point?
And we talked about this. They had gone back and forth, and everybody said, oh, you don't have sources. You don't know what you're talking about. Jordan Clarkson went out a year ago. He signed to come back. He picked up the option, and they didn't trade him. And our sources had told us they had an agreement with Jordan Clarkson that they were going to trade him to a contender at the deadline. That never happened. Now, all of a sudden, Jordan Clarkson's like, I went out. They agree to a buyout. What was the point of re-signing him? He wasted a year of his career on the Utah Jazz, who were never going to win. And I know they're big game hunting, but you have the beat writer for the Salt Lake Tribune today saying that there is no market for Jordan Clarkson. Yet Shams is saying that contenders, they're expected to line up waiting for Jordan Clarkson, with interest from multiple playoff teams already expected. Like, you can only spin this stuff so far, right? I mean, it's tough when you start looking at the way these teams are built. I don't think we've seen a significant move. That's just my opinion.
You damn well better have another move cooking for the Colin Sexton deal. Why are you trading Colin Sexton for a big man when you have Walker Kessler? Can I ask that question?
Because somebody's not going to be there. You're right
clearly,
now.
But the question is what that deal is going to be. Like, you just moved on. You moved one of your best trade assets for what? An aging big that you don't need?
Joseph Nurkic is like, who Jake's talking about. And you start looking at the numbers, and yes, I understand that you had a guy in Colin Sexton that had I think he had an $18 million number. And you start looking at the cap now. Look what the Jazz are doing. They've moved significant salaries. They're trying to trade John Collins. You have Lauri Markkanen making 46.3, John Collins at 26.5, and now Yusuf Nurkic is your third highest paid player at $19 million, coming off of a terrible run.
So again, I'm just asking, this guy is clearly a fit on a playoff team, a guy that comes in for 10 minutes at a time, commits some fouls, bruises up the other team a little bit, gets you some rebounds, get his ass off the floor, and run it back in the second half. That's what he is.
And you just drafted Ace Bailey and Michael Clayton, so you're going to play them. I mean, isn't his cap hold $9 million? That's not insignificant. You need him to play.
Yeah, Ace Bailey should be one of your
yeah, he's $9 million, essentially $9,069,000.
And I don't understand why. I've seen this all over X, since the draft. People wondering, well, man, why did they draft Ace Bailey? They've got these guards, and they've got guys
Bryce
on the
Sensabaugh,
and because, dude, they didn't like Keontae, allegedly. You're clearly I like Sensabaugh's game, but he's probably not. He's not your best scorer on your roster material. He's a good scorer. He's a solid little player. But he's not going to be superstar scorer kind of guy. That's not his thing. He's much more of a bring the ball up. If you want to get him into a good matchup to get him that's great. You can do that with him. But make no mistake about it. Ace Bailey should be the best scorer on this team next to Markkanen until you trade Markkanen inevitably. Because when this team wants to be a championship contender, dude isn't going to be on the roster. You have to move his contract and get the value out of him to create a balanced starting five and a balanced roster.
Yeah.
And Ace Bailey should be that guy that replaces that scoring production when you're ready to go out and make a playoff run. So I don't want to hear, oh, well, gosh, the Colin Sexton deal makes perfect. I don't think it makes any sense. I don't understand it unless you've got another deal cooking where you're going to move Nurkic and get something else done that you're working on. That's the only way that deal makes sense. And as far as I'm concerned, we've been telling you so on Jordan Clarkson for years now. I mean, Jazz fans being surprised by this is incredible to me. Like, this guy, you understand, this guy, you want to talk about a hired gun? That's what Jordan Clarkson is. Nobody wants to pay dude his contract. What they want is the Jazz to spend the money, which is why there was no trade market, and he's gonna sign on a vet minimum deal somewhere on a playoff team because he's already got his money from the Jazz, and he's gonna go out and give a team 25 minutes a night, and he's gonna try to be a 20-point guy off the bench. That's his value. But why? I agree. Why give him free money? Were you just rounding out the roster last year? Just trying to add a couple more wins that you shouldn't have had? Like, that's what I don't understand about this front office.
I mean, you can look at, yeah.
Like,
we can go round and round on the Jazz. The John Collins move looks suspicious now, acquiring him. You're already trying to move him. You're talking about guys like Walker Kessler being moved. You're trying to sell your fan base on the fact that you're not going to be back in the lottery next year. Like,
come on.
Ryan Smith has never done anything to inject enough cash into this team. And really signing Larry Markkinen was a rubber stamp. You've shed salary and you continue to do that without replacing it. And I don't know how many more Ainges you can hire before it becomes your fault. That's the hard part. Like, I don't blame Danny Ainge for the state of this roster. I don't blame Danny Ainge at all. Ryan Smith does not want to give him the assets required to win the games that you want to win. I think it's as plain and simple as that. So, Eric Wasikowski, Chaz Lanier is the steal of the draft. No, he looks better today because Malik Beasley's not going to get that contract. What was that, 3 years and $52 million or whatever? But Chaz Lanier is by no, like, do you understand why? I don't know why I'm even going to engage in this. Do you understand that he was picked 37th overall in the second round? You think 36 previous picks just missed on him? No, that's not what happened. And if you look at, he's a good player. He's not somebody that you can't even describe him as. What do you see that is making him a steal? That would inquire that he should have been a first round pick. How and on what earth should Lanier have been a first round pick? I mean, that he is a 3-point shooter. I would say that's probably not. Man, the Houston Rockets are signing everybody. Clint Capella gets a 3-year, $21 million deal with the Rockets.
Spending the bread, dude.
Now that it feels like the Lakers are almost stuck with DeAndre Ayton, who I think is a huge draft bust.
He is. I
think, and this was an interesting conversation today as well. Is DeAndre Ayton a bust? I think there's no question where he was picked by the Suns. He is a bust. He was a 0 in the finals. He was a 0 in Portland. And my guess is he'll wind up on the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess, because the Lakers need a center. And I don't know how you continue to. I mean, he will come cheap. DeAndre Ayton is not going to be an expensive acquisition. My guess is they will continue to chase guys like Walker Kessler, because Walker Kessler is a guy they need. They need a rim runner. And the problem for DeAndre Ayton is he's a nice offensive player who cannot rebound because he just is not strong. He's got small, weaker hands.
And his spatial awareness is terrible.
Does not catch the ball well in traffic, gets stripped routinely. It's a issue. And it comes back to, are the LA Lakers a championship caliber roster? When you're going to lose one of the greatest Lakers of all time in LeBron James, because he's concerned about his legacy, which, again, I'm going to say, I think is complete BS. LeBron James you're playing with your son. You're in a place where you're making $53 million. Oh, by the way, who's taking a $53 million salary cap hit? Who can even make that trade at this late hour based on how active the market's been so far? Nobody's making that trade. I don't think LeBron wants to leave. I think LeBron, and this is all, LeBron has made no mention of this. He has not said or done anything that would make you think this is all shams and other people drawing, oh, well, you clearly didn't think it through.
No.
So it'll be interesting to see exactly how this plays out, is what I will say. But Big Daddy Magic, the Jazzo going to be okay. The Jazz. AJ is on the way. Please don't start obsessing over AJ. I'm begging you.
Dude, it's really
please,
tired, bro.
Please
I just stop.
Please don't. Like the whole Victor thing. Please don't do that. Please. Victor will get LeBron brand and be Brownie's daddy. Okay. There you go. Greg Hawkins, 3 straight right-hand pitchers in a row this week for the Guardians against the Cubs. Well, should hit them well. The Guardians are not a good baseball team. And then we play the Cardinals. I'll be there for every game in the Cardinals series. Super stoked about that.
Yeah, as Cubs fans, you should want to see right-hand pitching because PCA's left-handed splits are garbage. 182 against lefties this year. You want right-handed pitching.
But Jake, Justin Turner's on the team.
Yeah, I know. Redbeard is going to save everybody.
Justin Turner.
I know.
Don't even get me started on the frustration that is being a Cubs season ticket holder. And we're 49-35 and we're in first place and everything's great. And we have a 2-game lead over the Cardinals and Brewers.
Yeah.
And we can't hit anything left-handed. Nothing. If you start looking at, and I kid you not, you start looking at the Cubs splits and you just start checking, well, where does the slugging percentage get really low? I would tell you the slugging percentage gets really low at home. It's a 4.77 on the road and a 4.08 at home because Wrigley is not a hitter-friendly ballpark.
Dude, didn't you take a Boston Red Sox on Prize Picks?
I did.
6 runs in the first inning for the Red Sox.
God damn it. No, I didn't. I took the pitcher for the Reds. Oh, I'm in trouble. That's not good.
I took the Red Sox. Sorry.
I took Chase Burns. That's not good. 6 strikeouts. He's got none. Thankfully, Zach Wheeler's got 5 already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took Chase Burns. Oh, bottom of the first, 6-0.
Damn.
Anyway, the point is, the Cubs are brutal against left-handed hitting. Their slugging percentage is 20 points lower than against righties. 12 points lower batting average. And I would point all this out in almost 2,000 less at bats. Against only 778 at bats, their slugging percentage is 20 points lower. Now, the good news is the OBP is 20 points lower against lefties, right? Okay. Why? It just is what it is. It is what it is. I'm a Reds fan, and LOL, Burns replaced already. Brutal. So good in his first
Yeah.
time out, so bad in his second time.
Oh, why is it though, right? Because you get
The
tape on
rookie.
you, and now people can see what you do.
Because
and-
100 ain't 100 when you see it consistently.
Yeah.
So brutal. I should have not done that, but I did. It's fine. Why is no one talking about the children? Well, I mean, listen, because the last time Jim Harbaugh talked about the children, did you guys see the video of him walking out of the Committee on Infractions meeting where they grilled him? You guys remember what he looked like?
Oh, fucking God.
You remember that? It's
Iconic moment.
Exclusive. That's what he looked like and stuff. Don't.
Thank you.
Jim Harbaugh is the gift that keeps on giving. The raccoon is part of the Monty Show now, forever.
Oh, it has been.
Forever. There is just no doubt that it is. I mean, but that's just me. All right. The Monty Show presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. We'll reset it all. The Jake Retzlaff story, the Pac-12 story. I'm not doing Michigan again. I haven't got the answer. After this from the Advocates.
Injured in an accident? You may be entitled to a bigger settlement, up to 3.5 times bigger. Your initial consultation is 100% free, and we don't get paid unless we win your case. No matter the accident, we are here to help. The Advocates will fight for you because you deserve clarity, you deserve justice, you deserve guidance, you deserve an advocate. Contact us today.
You too deserve an advocate at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business, where you never pay out of pocket for the best legal advice. And that's the thing that I think when we talk about the Advocates, they're not asking you to give them money up front. The Advocates, they know what they're capable of. They know that they win cases. That's why, hey, you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. At theadvocates.com, or you can chat with an injury attorney 24/7, 365, and it won't cost you a dime at theadvocates.com. And it's not a bot or an AI, it's a real life injury attorney, because they know, hey, injuries and accidents, they don't have a time of day. Injuries don't happen between 9 and 5. They happen at the worst time. That's why the Advocates are available 24/7, 365. At theadvocates.com. Delaric says, I still prefer the Kyler workout video. Why?
Pick it up. Walk back. Daddy.
Here's little baby Kyler Murray. This is when he was recovering and he's in the weight room.
And stop.
Lifted with the lineman, clearly.
Up. 3.
Look at that face,
Go.
the intensity.
Up.
Get it, Kyler.
Even lift. 4.
Get it, Kyler.
Ass to grass.
So good. So, like, we're at the point now where people are asking for videos. Like, okay. Toot Pants. The raccoon needs to call the Advocates to get the royalty money he is owed. Well, the problem is the last time the Advocates got royalty money.
Come here.
Hello.
The raccoon.
Oh, wait. The last time a raccoon got royalty money.
Come here.
Hello.
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my God.
Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth
Hello?
pipe right now. No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have that.
That's why I'm gonna do it. Hey, buddy.
Huh?
It's okay.
Okay, you're on. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
Is that what that
A
is?
few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what she's smoking meth in.
Okay.
The raccoon's playing with her meth pipe.
All right.
That's why you don't allow raccoons to recover damages, bro. How good is that?
It's incredible.
It is truly one of the greatest videos of all time. It is. How do you have a raccoon and a crack pipe in the same car? What could go wrong?
I mean, say less.
Right? Like what could go? Oh,
no problem.
It's a raccoon. It's a meth pipe. What do you mean there's a problem?
Yeah.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I mean, are you kidding me right now?
Come on, bro.
Yeah, Chase Burns did make it out of the first inning.
Damn.
Yeah, he done. He gone.
He gone.
I prefer crack coon over meth coon. Well, Wasikowski Law and Crime is a great YouTube channel. It is what it is. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. The matriculation of animals into cars. We've seen bears driving cars, which is to say in a rolling car behind the wheel that did not end well. Like we've seen all kinds of that stuff, dude. So yeah, that's a great idea for a new movie, Crackoons. Hopefully not.
Right.
Hopefully not. All right, let's reset the day's news for you real quick before we get to the non-sports stories of the day. As I have said, another good day in what is going to be a string of good days for the Pac-12. Texas State officially in the Pac-12 as they sign their agreement. And as we've been reporting for a couple of weeks, it would have to be before the month of June ended because then the buyout in their conference doubles in the Sun Belt. Not to worry because that is a done deal. This is a good day for the Pac-12. They are now a full-fledged FBS conference. And they can move on to adding St. Mary's, which I think is absolutely imperative. I think you absolutely have to get St. Mary's basketball only. That makes you more money. It is a no-brainer. And then I think you have to figure out, hey, is Memphis truly available to you as a football only? All of those things are ahead. You got to get a media deal done. All those things are ahead. A lot of good news is coming. Jake, I don't know how you spin it. I think today is a good day for the Pac-12.
Certainly. And I think that people, want to hate on this move and, want to hate on Texas State. Listen, I don't think anyone's going to accuse Texas State of being the biggest university in our country. But what I do think that we need to all be in agreement on is this was a necessary step in a long line of steps that this group of schools needs to take to be a conference again. And I think that, I don't avoid it. I think that this conference is very much, a hodgepodge of schools. It's hard to get around that. There's not a lot of history between these schools, in my opinion. I think that, some of them have relationships, some of them don't. They're kind of, they're like, going on a field trip together and they're going to be a conference here soon. And they're just kind of trying to figure it out. And hey, if you're a hardcore fan of schools in this conference, great. It's a good day for you.
Yes.
For me, this is largely inconsequential. I'll be honest. We talk about this story. We cover this story for you guys, but for me personally, as a football fan, I'm not living and dying on this hill. I am.
We have the great luxury of not being emotionally compelled.
Yeah.
By the Pac-12, the Mountain West. Like, I'm a Notre Dame fan. I don't have a dog in the hunt, but what I can tell you is, I think this is a very good day for the Pac-12. And I don't know how you spin it.
Yeah, it's just a necessary step, and it's a good move. They got it done. Texas State was prepared, clearly. The Pac-12 was prepared. Clearly, they've been working behind the scenes. I think a bigger piece of the puzzle is mediation still. Hey, if you're a Texas State fan, celebrate this day. I'm happy for you, genuinely.
Yes.
But for the sake of the situation, the mediation is the big thing. If you come out of mediation and you can sit here and tell the world that you saved, double-digit money through mediation, that is where you're, figuratively and literally speaking, that's where your money is, right? That's where your progress is. So
yeah, and again, I think your best option, if you can make it happen, and who knows with the Pac or with Sac State's lawsuit, or Sac State to me it's too obvious. You almost have to look at it and say to yourself, they've got money. They've done a phenomenal job. And listen, as somebody who lived in Sacramento for all those years, that's a great community. They're great people. You look at the value that Sac State has in their community, the money, the following, the stadiums, the arenas, the infrastructure, the leadership at Sacramento State is all really good. And I would tell you, I think Sacramento State, as we talked about last week, I think they've been victimized by the NCAA, and I would sue as well. For those of you who don't remember, they wanted to be elevated as an independent, and you have to have an invite from a conference on the FBS level to get the waiver, and they don't have that clearly. And I think it's a huge mistake. So we'll see where that plays out. But another good day for the Pac-12. Your thoughts on that obviously are welcome. Oh, look, we have another. Where'd it go? We have another one getting upset. Monty Mountain West apologist.
Ah, welcome to the show, dude.
Now we get to hear how Gloria's paying us, and
excellent strategy, sir.
I love the fact that guys like, what's your name, Jeff M, come in and they're like, "Oh, you're not saying nice things about the Pac-12. You're an apologist." Bro, I don't need to be an apologist. Nobody's paying me to say anything. And as little money as I make doing this show, nobody can pay me to say anything. And my point is, you don't have to agree with us. We've been right across the board. And I'll maintain, when you're a Pac-12 fan and you're rooting for the Mountain West to fail, that says something about you. And when you're talking about whatever it is you're going to say about the Mountain West, because I'm sure it won't be pretty, it's what Pac-12 fans do inevitably. They go and they insult other people because they're insecure about who they are. And to me, that's just, when you start talking about how I'm a Mountain West apologist, bro, you fit right into that same cut. It's amazing to me. That's a great idea for a new movie, Crack Coons. There you go. Cocaine Bear is a phenomenal movie. There you go. Jeff M. Calford sucking in the weakest. There you go. Insulting people. Calford sucking in the weakest major power conference. Yeah,
there you go, dude.
Just insult away, man.
Yeah, dude. Just insult
Live the
everybody.
brand.
I mean,
live the brand.
Yeah.
But Monty, Sacramento is not a state. My bad. I got that wrong. The state of Sacramento in the province of California, right? It's just so funny to me that Pac-12 fans can't avoid insulting and degrading other people. And I'll never understand it. Just because people don't think you're a power conference, you insult and degrade them. Because everybody and their brother who doesn't have emotions tied to the Pac-12 agrees you should emerge with the Mountain West. Oh, insult, degrade. Like, why? What are you
Because you're uneducated, that's why.
What are you so angry about? Like, who hurt you, dude? Delaric, Sac State does not have the biggest fan base, but they have a good fan base. They
seventh best in the state of California.
Seventh best in the state.
Yeah, I mean, that's that's pretty
and
obvious.
They travel, they eat glizzies, like they sell out your stadium. Wasikowski, G5 fans are fun to laugh at. It's because I honestly, like, UNLV fans, phenomenally passionate. Like, they're one of the few fan bases. Like, what pissed off Fresno State fans so bad? Like, how has Fresno State fan gotten so upset about the fact that you haven't been relevant? You hired a good coach. You're moving in the right direction. Now go finish. And then you're relevant. Does that mean that the Pac-12 is a power conference? It doesn't. But yet, Pac-12 fan, Fresno State fan gets so mad. It's crazy. Loner Foam, this show is great. What little money are you talking about, Willis? Yeah, are you back? Are you still in the Philippines? How's life in the Philippines, dude? Oh yes, Monty gets paid to badmouth the Pac every third sentence, right?
Apparently.
And that's what's funny is you hear all these stories about how this conference is paying influencers to insult that conference. Like, do you really think people are putting that much effort into it? Do you really think that's happened? I had somebody I actually laughed at the other day when they said, oh, the Pac-12, they hired a PR firm. And well, okay. Well, they hired that PR firm to insult the Mountain West. You really think they're paying? You think the Pac-12 is paying a PR firm?
Dude, it's not that deep, bro.
I don't think so. Roche, how do you think Messi is feeling right now? USA Soccer moving on. Yeah, probably not great. Lionel Messi's not had a good week at all. Toot Pants, could 50 crack coons take one cocaine bear?
I think the over-under would be about 400, but,
Do the raccoons have possums with them? Because if they bring possums...
And do the possums have cocaine in the system? Because if they do, that makes each possum that much stronger, obviously.
Ooh. The Lakers are not going to be happy about this story. How about this? Brooke Lopez has agreed to a 2-year, $18 million deal with the LA Clippers. Brooke Lopez was one of the number one targets for the LA Lakers, who were said to be hot and heavy after him. That is a big loss for the Lakers. The Lakers got to figure out the center position. I'm telling you, the Lakers are going to default to DeAndre Ayton.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's not good. Why are we all original names? Gumby. I offer to pay in Jack in the Box fries.
Hey,
I'm down.
That's,
Let's
a reasonable request.
Jeremiah Champion. Big 12 fans are just as emotional. It's embarrassing, and I'm a Tech fan.
Not wrong.
You guys were emotional when Dion was in there. I'm back in the U.S. Thailand was awesome. Nice, loaner phone.
Are you moving to Thailand?
Yeah. Are you moving there?
How do we feel about it?
Yeah. Lawrence says Tupac was right about Diddy, just as you guys were right about the Pac-12.
Damn.
Did you guys see in the Diddy trial that the jurors are now deliberating? They sent the juries, gave them instructions, sent them to deliberate. The jury sent back a note today saying, yeah, one of the jurors can't figure out the instructions. We don't think we can complete our process. You can't. No. You got to kick that.
Bro.
Put in an alternate. You cannot lose that jury. You cannot lose that jury. That is not happening. That is not happening. You cannot lose that jury. Like, what? That's crazy, in my opinion. Like, there's no way he gets off, right? I mean, there's no way.
Really did. Really? Really?
I deserve that.
Macaque.
No, there is no way he is acquitted. No. Nope.
God damn it. 100% I deserve all the heat. Yeah, I don't think he's getting found not guilty.
I think it's interesting that, of course, in the Diddy trial, there's a juror who can't figure it out.
Figure out the instructions. And I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how you do it. And according to reports, one juror can't figure out the instructions. Jury tensions are high. And they're talking about how the jury can't seem to get on the same page. So I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with this. If he gets found not guilty, you think we had like Clorox wipe shortages during the pandemic? You'll never be able to get a bottle of baby lotion ever again. Like, it will be a run like you have never seen. Probably too much. What are the chances because these are like racketeering charges?
Oh yeah, I mean he's up the river on a bunch of stuff. I mean you're in deep here. I think it was interesting. They chose not to have him testify, right? Like, if I remember that correctly, and they didn't want to do that because they didn't want to tarnish his reputation further. What they wanted to do is try to improve his reputation at the end of the trial before the jury deliberated. And I don't know, man. I think what you're going to have a tough time proving and I'm not saying it didn't happen, but again, what happened versus what you can prove is the standard, right? What can you actually prove happened? So I think the hard part's going to be proving that, people were held against their will. There's testimony, obviously, but evidence, right? What we know is people were at his place. We know these parties happened. We know that things went on. But what do you actually have evidence of to put him away? I think that's all jokes aside, the slippery slope, the gray area, the real tough portion of this conversation. And so I think, for me, if I was on that jury, it would be pretty clear for me. I think that, based on testimony, based on the pictures, based on, you can just kind of put the pieces together. But
so 8 men and 4 women are considering the charges against Combs. Should he go to jail for the rest of his life or walk free? Shortly after deliberations began, when a note came from the jurors regarding a juror number 25, saying he was not following the judge's instructions, after conferring with both legal teams, the judge responded to the jury's note, reminding them of their duty to deliberate and their obligation to follow instructions of the law. Those instructions explain to the jury that many charges Combs faces and exactly how he can be found guilty or not guilty. The guidelines detailed the 8 alleged racketeering acts and 2 counts of sex trafficking. The counts all add up to possible life in prison. And this juror is just simply saying, yeah, I'm not going to follow your instructions. And so now they're trying to figure out, okay, are they going to be able to come to a verdict? Like, what do you do if they say no? What do you do? If that juror's like, no, I'm not going to follow instructions. Like, I
don't know what the next step would be. I think, I don't know. Do you replace that juror? I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what you do.
I don't know. I'm not sure if that is a mistrial.
I mean, I don't understand. I've never been on a jury, never been through the process. I don't understand what it means to just simply not follow the instructions. I mean, does that mean that this person just doesn't understand? Is this a refusal? Like, what's the intentionality piece here? What like, you know what I mean? Like, I know
what you mean.
Like, I feel like, this is obviously a pretty high profile case. Jurors tend to be emotional. They've obviously sat there for however long this trial's gone on. So who the hell knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. I think that's interesting. And then before we get out of here tonight, can we talk about service? Okay, so we were playing golf very early yesterday morning. Not well, I would remind. Jake played great. I played horrendous. We left the house at 5 a.m. Jake came over, met me at my place. We leave the house. We've got to figure out breakfast because I got up at 4:30, got dressed, got my stuff
in
together.
Salt Lake City, we have to figure out breakfast.
Sunday morning at 5 a.m., we have to figure out breakfast.
Good luck.
Okay, Jake, is McDonald's 24 hours? Yeah, it is. Okay, great. Pull in, sit in the drive-thru for 2 minutes. Nobody's saying anything. Drive up to the window. The lady is standing there and then walks away. And we see her walking around the back of the house, open, not paying attention.
Now, my suspicion is, and I didn't see this, but I'm just guessing, she probably just assumed nobody would be at the drive-thru. That she was probably just listening to music, maybe didn't have the headset on, I don't know. But was not acknowledging our existence.
So that's number one. Then this story today about how customer service calls going poorly. You know how sometimes you're talking to somebody and the call just disconnects?
Mm-hmm.
That's not unintentional. They're saying that as protocol in certain companies, that if you are having a tough call, just hang up. If you're having trouble servicing a client, just hang up. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm trying to get to the bottom of something. And you're saying well, this is too difficult and we don't want to deal with this right now, so we're going to hang up. And they're saying that certain companies who shall remain nameless have phone systems where if you call into their phone bank and you've been a problem, they don't answer your call. They leave you on hold. They have a call queue for problem customers or who they denote as a problem customer, and you just sit on hold. Like, what is that?
Avoiding problems. That's what it is. Not wanting to provide service, not wanting to problem solve with customers.
Does that at all surprise you?
Not even a little bit. I think companies, I'm a big proponent of this. I think companies do things behind the scenes that we don't know about all the time. I think our technology listens to us. I think I think companies will do anything to avoid negativity, to just fly under the radar, do their thing, only talk to the positive people, don't talk to the negative people. I think that happens all the time.
I'm amazed by the level of bad service that you get. Like, I play a lot of golf. I play golf at nice golf courses. How am I paying you $100 to play golf and you're charging me for a bucket of range balls? Okay, never mind that. How am I paying you $100 and you put GPS on the cart to limit where I can go, and then you are constantly sending me messages on the cart? Order your food now. You're a minute ahead of pace. You're 5 minutes behind pace. I don't understand service etiquette. I don't understand when we go to the grocery store and you can't get a competent cashier who will either smile or say hello, and the only thing that they're programmed to say is, do you want paper or plastic?
It's frustrating.
It makes me crazy. I went to Mateo's Italian restaurant downtown Salt Lake City the other night. Got really good valet service. So I had a great night. We did a date night Saturday night, which is probably why I played so poorly on Sunday. I played 9 on Friday night, 18 Saturday morning, really late morning, finished around 1. Went to the chiropractor, went grocery shopping, came home, got in a shower, drove downtown, went to Mateo's. Excellent service. Great valet, great service in the restaurant. Then we walked down the street to a Bravenel Hall, which the owner of the Jazz who pretty much controls that land, wants to tear it down, and saw the Utah Symphony Orchestra playing the soundtrack to the original Star Wars movie while the original Star Wars movie was on a big screen. It was amazing. Walked back down to Mateo's, still have my car and valet sitting on the street waiting for me. Boom, done. Right then, you get to the golf course. I just think this fast food thing, this is why I don't eat fast food. Mm-hmm. This is why I don't go to McDonald's. We went across the street. There's a Jack in the Box across the street. More terrible service. It's 5:05 in the morning and you make me wait 10 minutes for hash browns. This is why I don't eat fast food.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I can go into Chipotle. I'm not saying they always roll my burrito well, but generally the person behind the counter is moot. They don't speak. They're not, with some small exceptions.
Yeah.
Most people at Chipotle don't even speak. This is why I don't eat fast food. Heavens forbid I should call Amex a couple of weeks ago about a payment issue, not a small one, a $13,000 payment issue. Got to wait on hold for 35, 40 minutes. God forbid I should need to call the IRS and wait 5-6 days to hear back. God forbid I should call Google about Google ads. Oh, that's right. They don't have customer service and you can't call Google ads. Where did service go? I know it's been slowly and not anymore now really quickly seeping into really crappy service.
Yeah.
Where did it go? That's what I don't understand. And everybody's going, well, Monty, the pandemic. Okay, great. The pandemic is how many years past now? When are we going to stop using gas prices, food prices, service? Oh, the pandemic, Monty. When are we going to stop doing that?
Never.
Like, I think probably not. Well, why can't we? Do you know how many people I talk to on a daily basis who don't talk on the phone or don't want to talk on the phone? I need to call you. Like, I was with a lawyer doing a business transaction. Like, I'm setting up a side hustle, and so I needed some like legal advice on how to structure X, Y, and Z. And the guy gave me phenomenal service. He's 66 years old. This guy texted me, called me, texted me again. Probably too much service. But how did he take my payment? $700 Venmo. 2 days. We'll have this all done on Tuesday for you. I'll liaison with your tax person, your accountant. I have an accountant. I'll liaison with your tax accountant who gives me now great service. My former disaster of a tax person. I now have a high-level tax person who referred me to a business attorney to restructure this side hustle. Great service from her. Great. But what do they have in common? They're in their 50s and 60s.
And they're in professional services lines of work.
But isn't that all you need at Maverick gas stations? Can I get one guy to say hello? We're walking to a Maverick in Midway, Utah yesterday, and this guy's counting a stack of 50s that are like this. I'm standing probably this close to him, ringing up my Gatorade. He doesn't even say hello or acknowledge my existence. Maybe I should expect that from fast food. Come on, man. Yeah. Somewhere you got to say hello.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the problem is like, I just think that common courtesy has left us for now. I'm sure it'll return at some point, but the common courtesy has left us at that level in life, at the fast food, I would say luxury is the wrong word, but the premium gas station, if you will, the Mavericks of the world, whatever your spice of life is, like those caliber gas stations typically don't have real super friendly people, like, because again, there's just not a lot of friendly people out there.
And is this because we don't pay people, or partially, is this because we don't invest in training for people? Because I feel like that's what this is. I feel like we don't invest to train and teach people. And now we're running into an age group that doesn't know how to talk to another human being in person. I think millennials and Gen Zers, because I think I'm Gen X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gen Zers don't know how to talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, your 20-year-old Chipotle worker has no idea what to do if another human being addresses them verbally. Honest to God, I think that's the case.
Uh-huh.
Because you're not stupid. You're a wholly functioning human being. You can make me a burrito that tastes great. You just can't say hello or goodbye or thanks for coming or have a nice day.
Yeah, I think that you should be grateful you grew up in a time when you got that, because I don't get a lot of that either. I don't get, it's super rare. The only time I really get it is high-end restaurant where service is part of it and they're working for a tip and they're trying to, they want it to be a memorable thing. We've got I feel like the Mastros in Newport, I feel like, is iffy on service. I think the Mastros in Vegas is elite at service. And I think that the Ruth's in downtown Salt Lake is pretty good most of the time. I would say like 7 out of 10. The Park City one, depends who you get, sometimes can be regrettable. So I think it's just hard to get service, basically anywhere.
Is it because the job sucks?
Yeah, I think partially it's because the job sucks. I also think people just don't have a lot to look forward to right now. What are people looking forward to?
I agree. Life in our country is very difficult.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with that.
I think it's just not a real exciting time. Vibes aren't great right now overall. I look at my life and I'm like, man, imagine if you were working at a gas station and that was all you had going for you.
That would be tough. I don't even disagree. The job is difficult. I think you're right about that. I think jobs are difficult. Life is, I don't know. Maybe it's this thing where we just need a win as a country. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I mean, I look at the geopolitical things that are happening in this country right now. I agree. I think it's tough to look forward to certain things. I mean, I just am curious to see when do we change this? We have a history of going through phases like this and we bounce and then we return but there's no quick return or bounce for the housing market. There's no quick return or bounce for the job market, which is said to be strong. But do you know how hard it is to get a job right now?
Yeah. What needs to bounce is the cost of goods. And then from there, the job market theoretically should move because people are going to have more money to take risk. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really curious to see what that all looks like because I think it is. I agree with a lot of you. It is a tough go right now in this country.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Champion, I think it's the pay and the lack of care for employees on the management end. Not saying that that's the issue, but probably has a lot to do with it.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, management at Little Caesars in Lubbock was just sitting in the back as high school employees were getting screamed at by customers when the same customers started to fight in the store. Yeah,
it sucks, dude.
Yeah, and we also don't, as people, treat service workers well.
Nope.
I would agree with that. Like, do any of you ask Alexa to thank your driver? Do you ever say, "Hey, Alexa, thank my driver"? You should do that. It makes a difference. Fight on Natty's. Fast food restaurants in my area are always Johnny on the spot. I wish they were in my area. I don't eat a lot of fast food. Honestly, I go to Chipotle or I go to this place called the Village Baker. And the biggest complaint I have at the Village Baker is I can't hear the lady through the speaker. I order a tuna sandwich on honey wheat with cranberry sauce on it. No mayo. And I can't hear the lady through the speaker. That's really the extent of my eating out. So, I ordered pizza a couple of weeks ago and I tipped the pizza guy really well. And he actually, the pie in Salt Lake City, South Jordan, Utah, I ordered from. And the guy was really nice. He's like, "I really appreciate that you did that." He looked at my receipt and he said, "It's been a tough couple of weeks. I really appreciate you tipping me well." And I was really pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah.
Greg Hawkins, upper management won't pay for proper qualified employees, so they hire managers who are inept, and their employees are college students who simply don't care. Totally agree with that.
Yep.
Totally agree with that. I think that's a thing. The yoke folk don't know how to socialize these days. Blame the smartphones. Totally. Toots, low-skill workers can get a new low-skill job tomorrow, so I think they're not committed to their current job.
Agreed.
I think fast food jobs are not difficult to come by. So, Roche, poor people aren't in good moods at all times. Service industry folks are generally poor. Yeah, I don't like the stereotype. But I would agree that we don't pay service industry workers well. That's why I always say to you, tip well. If you're going to go out to eat, understand that tipping 20% is part of the bill, unless the service has been terrible. Jeremiah, no lie, in Pueblo, Colorado, it takes 6 months to a year to find a job. It's impossible right now.
Yeah, it's tough.
Everybody thinks like, oh, the labor market's strong. We have a lot of people applying for jobs. We may not have a lot of unemployed people, but do you know how difficult it is to go through the job hunting process? I don't wish that on anybody. I really don't. Roche, in service industry, young people haven't learned how to give service, and older people are generally poor and stressed under the facade. That could be very true. Cam Harrison, afternoon guys. Shout out to Mo Bamba.
Shout out to Mo Bamba.
Cam, good to see you. Americans are impatient and demanding. It's difficult for high school students to provide a satisfactory level of service to a public that is impatient and demanding. Well, the problem is I tend to agree with Roche. I don't even know that it's high school employees. I think we're seeing an older and older crowd in restaurants now. Like the guy that took care of us at Mateo's in downtown Salt Lake had to be in his 50s. Had to be. Gave us great service, though. Food was on time. Like, if you guys haven't been to Mateo's in Salt Lake City, my God. It's right down the street from Ruth's Chris. It is. It's right across from the Hyatt Regency. It's unbelievable Italian food. I cannot say enough about the food at Mateo's in Salt Lake City. It is amazing. All right, there endeth my griping about bad service. I'm sorry if that came off as...
I think we're all frustrated with it.
I think it's a major thing. And then that story about them putting who they view are difficult callers in a queue of screw you.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Not surprising, though.
That's not great.
Not at all surprising.
Yeah. The Monty Show is always presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. You never pay a penny. Never reach into your pocket. You don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. You have nothing to lose. If you're asking yourself, do I need an attorney? Hey, should I trust my insurance company? No. The advocates will tell you if the insurance company or your boss or whoever is doing right by you. Trust me. They know what's right and what's wrong. You didn't deserve to get bit by that dog, but you do deserve an advocate at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.